Donald. Pulse flag coming in Yemen. So now you get to carry big bags of food all around with you too, huh? That's fun. Yeah, well, isn't life? Have a great day. So I think what's going to happen is they're going to, they've done where supposedly Trump has signed this sort of truce with Yemen, and it's made Israel really mad. Israel's really upset about it. Before decisions and like some just weird shit that should tell you who actually runs the show. But you know, so apparently Yemen has agreed to not to attack U.S. interests, while saying, look, we're absolutely going to keep attacking Israel. Right? What's up, Algo? So what's going to happen is Israel is going to attack the United States while blaming it on Yemen. And of course, the Israeli news, the J news that controls, you know, that provides us with our information, is going to go full on, oh yeah, and Yemen attacked us, which is going to spark the United States, spark the people into inserting the more action from the United States against the Yemeni. And that's, you know, this is sort of what I thought they would do with Saudi Arabia back prior to October 7th. But then they didn't need to. You know, they didn't need to do that to be able to execute the plan as they wanted to. So we've seen what we've been seeing. But now this Yemen thing just doesn't make any sense to me. You know, they're trying to portray Trump as he's not Netanyahu's bitch. Even though all of this information, you even have your Stu Peters and whatnot calling it out for what it is. That clearly Trump is Netanyahu's bitch. And with that, there has to be pushback by the system, because we can't figure too much of it out. If we start figuring too much out, how are they going to pull it off? So I think that's what's on the horizon, is a fake Yemen attack, and, you know, just a standard operating procedure. So much so that I hurried up and I wrote a song about it yesterday. It literally took me 15 minutes. I haven't had that happen in a long time. But we had another song on deck to record, to produce, to get out before. You know, we have plans. We have another song that's huh? No, you can do that at night, dude. It just kills the battery. But it's the, you know, it's the standard operating procedure here. And I just think it's you know, I think they're really scared. I think they see that we see it. You know, I think that they're, you know, they're worried about us. You know, they're worried about That's funny. This page gets notifications for when this phone goes live. Let's see what the page gets notifications for when this phone goes live. It's actually not even that bad of a delay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 seconds isn't bad at all. But like this is just how it operates. This is how the thing works. And I'm really interested to see what happens. Israel relations at crossroads. Trump's Middle East trip leaves Jerusalem confused, right? Because Trump's over there right now. I mean, this is just stupid. If we think that 3-4 weeks ago, not even, Trump has Netanyahu at the White House. He's the most special guest ever. The boys will be cutting lawns today. But to see it for what it is, like it's it doesn't require some genius. And to think that they're not going to react, and that they're not fucking, they're not going to adjust things to accommodate. I don't think they could successfully keep going. But again, to think that this entire time, Trump has been Netanyahu's bitch. Trump couldn't lower the gas and food prices. Matter of fact, everything's gone up. But right off the bat, Israel was getting everything Israel wanted. Trump is just funneling our tax dollars into Israel. And now suddenly we're supposed to believe that there's a rift there? I don't think so. I think it's part of the plan. And the crazy part is, being the wrestling fan that I was my whole life, you can see it's all the same thing. The manufactured tension to progress to the next pay-per-view, basically. It just doesn't make any sense. What happened to make Trump suddenly, not follow the standard protocol? This is what they do. Trump does what Netanyahu tells him. Trump is Israel. The greatest friend the Israeli people in Israel have ever known is Donald Trump, according to Netanyahu himself. So what do you think has happened? What some kind of behind the scenes little tiff? No. They worked this out. They planned everything out so that it would look this way, so that the American people would have more confidence that Trump is actually in charge, and you're seeing it. Yesterday I read you an article, at least part of an article, by David Friedman from the New York Times, where he's calling on Donald Trump to realize that Netanyahu is not our friend, and he's happy that Trump is finally, like, it's funny how it all just, it all just happens, and then the news, the J News, falls in line and does what they're supposed to do, and like it's just silly. It really is fucking silly. It's insulting. So the president of the United States is over in the news right now. What? Netanyahu went home. A couple weeks later, a week later, Trump goes there, and he has no plans to visit Netanyahu, which is part of the ruse. Why would he need to go there when they already spent all their time making the plan here? And of course, I'd love to hear how I'm wrong, but I won't. Nobody has the balls to engage me in any of this shit because you're so unprepared. there's nothing you can argue. So let's read some news, shall we? A Syria's Druze minority reels from violence. Israel pursues an opening. So do you guys remember this? I don't know, maybe it's been a year by now. But again, about a year ago, Israel started claiming that the 12 children of Israel they were milking the wording. You know, 12 Israeli children, the 12 children of Israel were killed in an apparent, somehow some artillery, some munitions made it through the Iron Dome and hit a playground where they claimed that Israeli children were playing, and 12 children got killed. And they just ran with this story. It was all over the news. It was, the 12 children of Israel, the 12 children of Israel were killed, blah, 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 blah. Especially considering Israel literally just takes no damage in any of this. Every time you hear about Israelis dying, it's because of friendly fire or some shit like that, right? Sorry, I've been sick, so I'm mucusy. But after like a week of Israel running with that narrative that the 12 children of Israel had been killed, the Druze, I'm not sure how you say it. I think it's Druze, D-R-U-Z-E. The Druze came out and they were like, because I remember when it happened, I was thinking like, how could anything possibly get through the Iron Dome and just happen to kill 12 children? That's not how it works. If that was how it worked, then Israel would have a lot more casualties. But so I smelled something fishy to begin with. And then it comes out that the Druze are like, hey, stop saying that. Because the Druze are a small community within the Israeli borders, I guess. I mean, it's a weird way to say things because it's not, Israel, their borders expand as they need them to. But come to find out that it was this Druze community that the missile hit, which then makes all the sense because the Druze don't consider themselves Christian. They don't consider themselves as, Jewish. They consider themselves Druze. That's their identity. That's who they are. They're the Druze people. So they came out and said, Israel, stop claiming that Israeli children were killed when it's the Druze children that were killed. And as soon as they started coming out and saying, hey, we're the ones that lost the kids there, the story just vanished. It just vanished. The 12 children of Israel just vanished. So it's I'm going to read this article here because this is how they operate. They manipulate, they do what they need to do to make it seem like they're the victims when they're absolutely nothing even close to victims. Most of us would love to live that Israeli life. They love to claim that, the sirens were going off because missiles, nothing gets through the Iron Dome. This is the greatest piece of military technology and whatnot that ever existed. What's up, Duty? So it's really interesting how they're doing this, and we'll see, right? Huckabee says report Trump to recognize Palestinian state. Nonsense. Which is just insane. I mean, it's just more insanity. The idea of recognizing the Palestinian state, like they haven't lived there forever. Like Israel isn't the invader and the Palestinian state is just non-existent. It's maps, manhole covers, like you name it, show that the Palestine exists. So let's see, the Washington Post. Attacks on the Druze by Islamist gunmen backing the new Syrian regime. See, it's all just stupid. But I'm not allowed to read this one. Isn't that interesting? I'm not allowed to read this story because it, for whatever. So let's see. The Times of Israel. Because Mike Huckabee, who will sell anything for $1, is now the guy. Like, why is he even a thing? What position does he have? U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, Ambassador to Israel. He's the guy that Christians give money to Israel. U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, calls a Jerusalem Post report. Morning. That President Trump is set to recognize Palestinian state during his upcoming Middle East visit. Nonsense. At Jerusalem Post needs better sources than this unidentified source. My 4-year-old grandson Teddy is more reliable. And take it from Teddy, this report is nonsense. Israel doesn't have a better friend than at POTUS. I mean, so, that's what I keep saying. They're telling you the truth. This is a Gulf diplomat. Source claim President Trump will issue a declaration regarding the state of Palestine and American recognition of it, and there will be an establishment of a Palestinian state without the presence of Hamas. It's just fucking stupid. Like, I mean, the whole Hamas thing is stupid because nobody's going to talk about where Hamas came from. Hamas is Al-Qaeda, is Israel's Al-Qaeda, is Israel's boogeyman. Whenever they need something, they just say, Hamas did it. Kremlin accuses European countries of confrontational stance after they back Ukraine truce. Gosh, it's so weird how it's all happening at the same time. Right? Just think about how stupid you have to be to fall for this. It just happens to work out that the Ukraine truce and the truce here, the Yemen, it all just worked out the same weekend, huh? It's embarrassing. It really is stupid, and it's embarrassing. It's interesting how I'm not allowed to have. Car retired. I'm not allowed to have the views. I was allowed to have views last week, but guess not. Michigan AG suggests. Oh, well, this is just more of the. So did you guys hear that yesterday? Did you guys see my thing yesterday? So Michigan Attorney General, what's her name? Dumb broad. Dana Nessel, who is Jay. She's dropping the charges against the Palestinian, the pro-Palestinian protesters because there was too much pushback from the people. They're acknowledging that we make a difference. They're acknowledging they're scared of us, and they're going to try to placate us when we stand up too much. But that was 4 days ago. 2 days ago, Israel plunges into darkness. Ooh, what's that? By Gresham Groenberg. What Netanyahu describes as impending victory is a dive into morass. Morass? After 19 months of war in Gaza, it's not a war, it's a genocide, the Israeli government has decided to march deeper into the quagmire. Israel has announced its intentions to take and retain a significant part of the Gaza Strip. For what? I mean, it's... I still want to know why Hamas isn't doing more. Hamas was capable of launching 5,000 rockets in the first 20 minutes of the attack on October 7th. October 7th, September 11th. They love their shit like that, don't they? Well, that was crazy. That's just... call-up orders are going out to tens of thousands of already exhausted reservists. Yeah, because, you know, at 18, the Israelis all have to join the military, and then they are forever reservists. I bet they wish they would have signed the pledge, the whatever it was, that they wouldn't fight in whatever upcoming conflict that was coming up that they didn't know was going to happen. Back when they were protesting the government's not getting along. Interesting again. I'm allowed 2 people, huh? Nobody's commenting. The battered, hungry population of Gaza is to be forced into an even smaller part of the narrow enclave. The lives of the remaining Israeli hostages are in greater danger than ever. There are no Israeli hostages, I can tell you that. And you have to just look at what you're shown. You have to look at what they're giving you. Israel was going to bring the entire military into the region and do the October 7th response because a drunk Israeli kid was driving through Palestine, through Gaza, you know, throwing things at people, trying to run people off the road, causing terror, and he crashed and it was in a police chase where he crashed his car and apparently died. The body was then supposedly stolen, and because the Jays insist that their dead bodies be put in the ground within 72 hours, Israel was threatening to bring the entire military into Gaza and cause the genocide to get the dead body back. Right? If they were going to do that for a dead body, why would they allow hostages to exist for 18 months or whatever it's been while bombing the direct area where the hostages are said to be? What's up, Brian? If there really are Israeli hostages there, why would Israel be bombing indiscriminately? And literally, what proof do you have that any Israelis were ever taken hostage other than the stupid list that they give you and then the videos that supposedly show the hostages being released, you know, good health, no marks or bruise. Like it's crazy to think that with everything that's going on in that region and how Israel is committing genocide, that the hostages would be taken better care of than their fellow Palestinians. Do you realize how stupid that is? You know, right off the bat, Hamas said that if Israel didn't stop bombing, well, first they said, we'll give you all of the hostages, the bombing campaign, to which Israel said, oh no, we're going to start bombing even more, which makes no sense. But then you had Hamas saying, well, if you don't stop, we're going to start killing hostages on TV and broadcasting it. We're going to start beheading people and whatnot, you know, because that's what we think they do. And then Israel was like, fuck you, we're going to do what we want to even more. And not a single hostage was ever killed on TV. Why? It just doesn't make any sense. With the amount of people that are being killed, the amount of Palestinians and Gazans and whatnot being killed, to think that their Israeli lives are just so much more important that, you know, you have to go back to the first Israeli hostages that got released. And that was the old woman. Remember the old woman? It was like 2 weeks after October 7th. They supposedly released this old J woman who immediately after being released turned around and shook the hands of her captors. And everybody was like, what the fuck? What's that about? That looks weird. And then when interviewed, she said that that they're all treated really well. That yes, she was abused at first, but she hasn't been since. And of course, you know, all her old lady bruises and cuts and shit healed up within that first 2 weeks. Because that's how old people heal. But she said, you know, they have kosher food for them. That each elderly person has a doctor assigned to them to make sure that they get the medications that they need, and just like all this crazy shit. Because they were setting the precedent. They were trying to tell you that, you know, that as things keep going and Israeli hostages get released and they look great and they don't look like they've been hostages, well, this is why. Because, you know, Hamas takes such good care of the hostages they chose to take in the first place. Like, it's all just stupid. It's so insulting. You know, how many of you are going to take hostages, then those hostages being taken are then used as an excuse to commit genocide against your people? So you're going to keep them alive, fed well. You know, they can't even get medicine to the Gazans, to the children in Gaza who are, you know, dealing with amputations and shit without any sort of anesthetics or any sort of pain meds or anything like that. You're going to do that, or that's going to happen, and you're going to treat those same hostages, those same, like, it's just stupid. It's just insultingly stupid, and I'm so tired of it. But the lives of the remaining Israeli hostages are in greater danger than ever. And you also have to remember, I don't know, 6 months ago, maybe longer, I don't know. There was an interview with the supposed leaders, the leaders of Hamas, where they were asked about the hostages, and they were like, we don't know. We don't know how many there are left. We don't know where they are. They're so dispersed all throughout that we just don't know. But then Benny Gantz gets interviewed, former Prime Minister Benny Gantz gets interviewed, and he says, oh yeah, Israel knows where all the hostages are. If Israel knows where all the hostages are, why aren't they getting them? I mean, it's just fucking stupid. Here's the opinion, the Israeli government is not our ally, by David Friedman. The huge under-the-radar shift happening in the West Bank, says the New York Times 2 days ago. IDF says, most wanted West Bank terror operative killed in Nablus operation 21 hours ago. It's just amazing how many times they kill somebody and then they're like, oh, that was the most wanted guy. They just get what they want. If you were shocked by my film on Israeli settlers in the West Bank, you haven't been paying attention. This is from The Guardian. Oh, this is Louis Theroux. You know, my money don't jiggle, jiggle. It folds, that guy. Let's see. It wasn't something I saw coming. A film about the situation in the West Bank. An evergreen story, if ever there was one, going viral. Appreciation, dismay, gratitude, outrage at what the film showed through the week kept it going. More retweets, more feedback, a little bit of pushback. Shock was the theme of many messages. The idea that this was going on. And a feeling of, at last, mainstream British TV is saying something about what's happening. I mean, obviously, the leaders of the world don't give a shit about what the people say. Because there are very, very few Israeli supporters out there. Most of the people you'll talk to will tell you, like, this is bullshit. I don't support this. So who are the leaders representing that you know, that this is continuing to happen without interference. The film was a follow-up of sorts. In 2010, I'd made a documentary called Ultra Zionist. The Zionist thing pisses me off. They're doing everything they can to, okay, you could say free Palestine. You could say you don't like Zionists. Just don't call it a cult for being exactly what it is, because Zionism is just a cover. How do you know somebody's a Zionist? They have to tell you they're a Zionist. Otherwise, you don't know. And as Tommy Robinson said, you don't have to be. He's a Zionist. It's just fucking goofy, man. It was a look at the Israeli religious nationalist community that exists in the West Bank, the area across the eastern edge of Israel that has been under military occupation since the Six-Day War in 1967. Again, was it really a war? And if not for Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, Israel would have lost. But because Robert Maxwell used his tremendous influence and money and power to smuggle airplane parts and all that shit into Israel, they were able to have the superior advantage from the air, which is how these cowards fight anyway. Dropping bombs on tent cities and shit like that because they're cowards. But like this is all just so much deeper than you realize. It's always funny to me. I have 4 people watching, right? Who the fuck are these 4 people? Who are the 4 people that are watching me? That say nothing. Whether they agree or they oppose me, how come they sit here and they watch me but they say nothing? Seems strange. The area now, a decade and a half on, with the world's attention on Gaza, it was being reported that the settlers were ramping up their activities. The Israeli government had given them thousands of assault rifles. Shootings of Palestinians, vandalism of their property, and harassment were all on the rise. Yet, let there be a swastika painted on something somewhere and the whole fucking United States shuts down. No, it's a swastika painted. Come to find out, the swastika was painted by some Jay to bring attention to what's going on, because we don't do that. Because, Americans aren't putting swastikas on shit. It's just not. What would be the purpose of that? How would that even be effective? We were supposedly enemies of the group that flew the swastika. So why would we be flying the swastika? It's just more stupidity. We envision the film as a kind of road movie through a region under military occupation. On 2 trips of a little over a week each, with my director Josh Baker and producers Sarah Obadat and mate Mateen Cohen. Gotta love that. I drove up and down the West Bank. I made inroads in the settler community in interviewing exponents of the settler mindset. People such as Ari Abramowitz of the Arugat Farm, a resort for tourists that sits deep inside the occupied West Bank. Man, they must not be very scared if they have a resort town in the middle of the fucking West Bank. Abramowitz was born and raised in Texas, but came to Israel as a young man, qualifying for Israeli citizenship due to his Jewish heritage. For our interview, he met me wearing an assault rifle and a handgun. He took me on a tour of the land and declared his view that the Palestinian people don't exist. I also spent time with Danila Weiss, the woman often touted as the godmother of the Settler Project. An energetic 79-year-old Weiss has been working to expand Israeli presence in the West Bank, or Judea and Samaria, as she calls it, for more than 50 years. lobbying governments, raising funds domestically and internationally, promoting a vision of an entirely Israeli-ruled region, with the Palestinians pushed to either accept it or leave. Like I say, this isn't even news. This bitch has been doing this shit for 50 fucking years. Weiss hosted me at her suburban-style home in the settlement of Kadunium amid books and family photos. Showing me a map on her wall, she explained that Lebanon, Jordan, and parts of Syria, Saudi Arabia, and Iraq were all part of Greater Israel. Oh, the Greater Israel Project. Just think about it. There are people that live there, that have lived there forever, and because the Israelis just want it, they're getting it. No one else gets that. Under international law, she explained the settlement process of creating even more outposts of religious Israelis. Under international law, the moving of the civilian population into occupied territory is a war crime. I said, this amused her. I mentioned that elements of the Israeli security apparatus viewed her activities with dismay and criticized the extreme settlers for engaging in what they called Jewish terror. She shrugged all this off. Well, obviously. Yeah, the government says, "Oh, we don't support this. We don't." But then the government supplies them with the weapons. The government could come in and stop it, but they don't. It's all just bullshit. It's all just sleight of hand. We saw her in action at an event promoting the idea of Jewish-only settlements in Gaza, the latest frontier in settler activity. In a fiery speech, she announced that the Palestinians of the region needed to leave and go to other countries, to Turkey, to Canada, anywhere else. Just imagine the response to somebody saying the same thing about them. I think we should get rid of them. I don't think they should be allowed in the United States. But that makes me some sort of pariah. That makes me the bad guy. If she says that about the Israelis, well, that's okay, because she's a J, and they can do and say what they want to say, and it's okay, because they're J, they're better than us. They're God's chosen people, and we're not. And they say things like, "Oh, well, everybody thinks this way. People all over the world think this way about their country and their religion and their blah." No, they don't. Nobody else talks like this. Another visit to the Gaza border, she brought a prominent rabbi, Dov Lior. With the smoking ruins behind him, he spoke of the need to cleanse the land of camel riders. What the fuck? You know what the fucked up part is? What do you think they're going to do when they succeed and they kill all the people that they want to kill in that region? You think they're just going to stop? Or you think they're going to keep expanding and just find new enemies, new targets? In the encounter that made the film's closing scene, Weiss and I had a heated exchange over views on a hilltop at Evatar, the latest settlement to be recognized by the Israeli state. Are they a state or are they a country? Why do they always refer to themselves as a state? Could it be they're part of the United States and we just don't understand that? At the end of the day, how come they never come in here and defend themselves or their actions? How come they let me say all these things, other than they know that they don't have to worry? They'll just, use Team Jorge to censor my feed. They'll just, they're not worried about us because they know that they have us distracted by all of our differences, that they can just do what they want to do. I mean, we're about to hit June, right? June is about to happen, which is Gay Pride Month. Gay Pride Month is like a reset button for them, you know? Because everything that they do and all the negative stuff that happens just gets forgotten. Because gay people want to, have rights. Because they put a bunch of plants in the gay parade of, there's a whole bunch of regular people just doing their thing, but then you have some guy walking with his cock and balls hanging out. And that's the image that's shared all over the world. Yeah. Because the terms are interchangeable. They are a country. Really? How many times do you hear anybody say the state of America? The state of Russia? The state of China? No one ever says anything like that shit. But hey, again, wait, because you're a dumb J. That's why this guy always stands up for them. I assume. I don't fucking know. Right, the United States of America. Right. That's not saying America is a state. That's saying the United States. A whole bunch of states are united to form the country. That's not what Israel has. Hey, you got the late note. At least you got one, Matt. Makes you wonder why, doesn't it? Over the days of the shoot, driving around through checkpoints, past blast walls and guard towers and olive groves and Palestinian towns, I thought back to my previous visit 14 years before. Much was still the same. The same sense of a two-tier society. Jewish settlers who lived protected under Israeli civil law, Palestinians who were subject to an opaque regime of military rule, while roads closed, life made difficult in ways big and small. The daily indignity of queues and passport checks, the fear of settler vandalism and intimidation and murder. They kill them all the time. They're horrible, horrible people. The reaction to the film when it aired was immediate. Positive write-ups and massive online commentary. Some reviews thought they detected a new seriousness in my approach. Well, the best part is it's not like it can be, you can hide behind the idea that somebody was misleading or anything like that. This is why I tell you to go watch Hollywoodism, because they made Hollywoodism. And if I made the same video using people of color and made a word-for-word video or word-for-word movie or a copy of it, except for when they say, we and us, I said they and them, it would get panned. People would say, oh, those are anti-Semitic tropes and all this other bullshit. But when they say it, it's okay. So with Hollywoodism, you literally have them consistently saying that they created Hollywood, they control Hollywood, they used Hollywood to create the America that they want. Like they everything that's said in that video, if somebody else says it, would be a problem. But because they say it, it makes it okay. Well, like independent states forming countries as opposed to individual states being their own countries, you can choose not to get it. Yeah, that's what it is. See, again, you can't make a reasonable argument, so you just say stupid shit. If there was some other example of it, then you would make it. But you can't. And essentially, you are supporting genocide. You aren't condemning it, so then you're supporting it. Anybody that stands for anything Israel, you need to go. You're a piece of shit. I wish bad things about you. Just noticed you were live. Well, or just notified you're live. Yeah, well, why do you think they wait 40 fucking minutes to tell my viewers that I'm live? I'm sure that's just a coinkydink. That's just another one of those things that happens all the time, right? They referenced a moment when I told Danella Weiss her views seemed psychopathic after she suggested she was only interested in the welfare of her own people and didn't give any thought to other people's. It was said I seemed more assertive than usual. I'm not sure whether that's true, but I do think the gravity of what is unfolding gave the encounter more impact. Let's see what this says.
We empower those who act. Those who manage risk.
Canada, Mexico, other countries with local governments. Nobody ever says the state of Mexico. Nobody ever says the state of Canada. You dumb fuck. Why do you keep doubling down and making this so easy for me?
This is Allah Hasley.
This is my home.
Allah and his family live in the south of the occupied West Bank, in an area called where Palestinian agricultural.
Look at how shitty they're forced to live. Look at, can you imagine?
In February, Allah woke up to the sound of Israeli military bulldozers.
They just woke up to it, huh? And they started demolishing my house, destroying everything, leaving me and 14 members of my family homeless.
There was no warning. And Allah is one of thousands who have been displaced from their homes in the occupied West Bank in this year alone.
Israel occupies the Jordan's West Bank.
The West Bank was captured by Israel in 1967, and it has been central to the conflict ever since.
Israel occupies the Jordan's West Bank, and thousands of Arab.
For decades, nearly 3 million Palestinians have been living here under Israeli military rule, facing frequent attacks and intimidation.
Where's the opposite video?
Israeli settlements expanding throughout the territory. The conflict escalated on the 7th of October 2023, when Hamas militants attacked Israel.
The biggest
Bullshit.
loss of life in a single day in Israeli history.
Bullshit.
In response, Israel bombarded Gaza, and all eyes were on the war that followed.
Look
But
at
at the
that
same
shit.
time, Israel increased its operations in the occupied West Bank. These operations in the occupied West Bank intensified earlier this year.
Look at this dumbass. I just got to point this out. This dumbass then says, he's like just desperately trying to get something. And Chinchilla are Mexican states. Alberta and Ontario are Canadian territories, essentially functioning as other Okay, right, I get it. They are states. But the country is still Canada, you dumb fuck. I am so grateful that this person is dumb enough to come on here and say these things. Israel is not multiple. Israel refers to itself as the state of Israel. Show me some other country saying the state of Canada, the state of Japan, the state of China, the state of whatever country we're talking about. It just doesn't happen. Where is the equal and opposite reaction? There isn't any. I mean, even the supposed video from October 7th. What did you see? One thing? And that doesn't even like, it's not even like, you know, it's quick. You see, like what that could be anything. There's not the endless supply of videos like there is showing Israeli aggression. I still say no Israelis died or were taken hostage on October 7th. It's all just bullshit false flag.
The Israeli government announced Operation Iron Wall.
Operation Iron Wall.
Security in Judea and Samaria. These are the names given to the West Bank by Israel. For the first.
Listen to this. Right, but they are a single government over the country. Unlike us, Mexico and Canada have individual and federal governments. Like this is how stupid Israeli supporters or Israelis Jays have to be. And does anybody think, oh yeah, that person's making lots of sense? The fact that it's because they have this goal to argue everything that they end up putting themselves in a position where they then have to sort of defend it, and they sound stupid. I mean, it's stupid. It's insane. Oh yeah, no, because all of the different territories and states in Mexico, different. Yeah, yet Mexico never refers to itself as the state of Mexico, right? There's about as many clips as there are of the Trump shooting. Exactly. If you're not an Israeli supporter and you're not a J, then why would you ever do anything but condemn Israel? No decent person doesn't condemn Israel. It's awful. What we're seeing is genocide. And it doesn't matter, like Matthew claims to be gay. If gays were being treated like the Palestinians, he'd be the first one to be crying about it.
First time in 2 decades, Israel deployed tanks to the region, along with an increase
Wasn't the first
in
time.
demolitions, raids, and Palestinian deaths. All of this has led to human rights groups calling Israel's most recent activity the Gazification of the West Bank.
What we're seeing in the occupied West Bank is increasing use of tactics that cause death and devastation in Gaza. So that's a rise in airstrikes to unprecedented levels, a loosening of the rules of engagement, the conditions under which Israeli forces can risk civilian deaths during an attack, whether that's with missiles or guns.
Show me the one, show me an example of Israelis being held accountable for their crimes. Give me some example of it. No, but you won't acknowledge that because did you just hear what I said? You see, this is how dumb they are. I said if you're not an Israeli supporter and you're not a J, then why would you ever stand up for them? And clearly, you're an Israel supporter. If you don't speak against Israel, you're an Israel supporter. I mean, it's that simple. If you don't speak out against tyranny, you support tyranny. If you don't speak out against genocide, you support genocide. You don't get to pick and choose. You know, you pick and choose which way you lean, but the label comes. It's based on your own shit. He called me a J2 at first, but I proved myself to not be, and now here we are. Not that hard. I'm just giving a guy living my life who found a funny clown on YouTube. What? I'm just a guy living my... Okay, so it's funny because somebody is talking about the genocide. Like, this is what I mean. This dude thinks that's real. And if you don't think that this is just a J-bot, I don't know what to tell you. You know? I'm funny because I think we should stop genocide. Oh, how funny is that? Like, what kind of dumbass are you? There's not a ton of other people. This guy's, again, supposedly racist or supposedly gay. He couldn't find one of these thousands of Trump supporters who bash gay rights and all that shit all the time for him to them be all over their nuts, and because that wouldn't be, those aren't bigger. No, the guy that thinks we should stop genocide is the guy I'm going to focus on. What a dumbass. And it's so much more telling than you think. You know, they're not going to come out here and acknowledge that they're fucking Israeli bots and shit like that. They're not going to say that. But the fact that, I mean, this is a dumbass who keeps saying that it's normal. A lot of countries refer to themselves as state. The terms state and country are interchangeable. Yeah, I live in the country of Michigan. What country do you live in? I know Algo lives in the country of Tennessee. You know, and anybody from the country of Florida? Since those terms are just interchangeable. People, you know, state, country, it doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's so stupid. You would think if you worked yourself into the position to where you were a country, you would never refer to yourself as a lower level state. But this is how stupid they are. Because you are small mentally. Yep. That's right. All these things. So wait. The genocide is real, but you are a bad mouthpiece because you are a small, mentally ill man. I'm small. ranting on YouTube live stream and not an activist or someone who is credible. Yeah, right. Gosh, I wish I had credibility to Matt. I mean, this is just a joke. This is a fucking joke. This is just so stupid. Want to acknowledge my previous comments? Yeah. I want to keep reading because I'm a mentally ill man who thinks we should stop genocide. And the thing is, you can't actually explain what I'm getting wrong. You see that? This is what they do every single time. They can't give you reasons, so they attack you for saying it. It's pretty simple. Sorry about that. You're even real and haven't proved an authentic way. When I'm talking about the state of Scotland or Britain as a whole, I'm not declaring it a state. No, but you're mentally ill too then. Like I said, this doofus can't actually tell me what I'm getting wrong. What part about this am I wrong about? You point out something I've said that's wrong, especially when I'm consistently reading to you the narrative they want us to have. It should tell you a lot. And this is why, again, you know, Matthew's been ignored for a while. I was just using his shit today, but if people think I'm going to keep reading dumbass nonsense, they're just stupid. I mean, I don't even know. A few pieces were critical of the film. The main charge was that I focused on a handful of crazies who weren't representative of the wider community. Weiss is a crackpot, wrote a reviewer in the Daily Mail. On X, the conservative environmentalist Ben Goldsmith claimed that the extremists in the film represent a nutty fringe in Israeli society, about as accurate as a representation of the whole as Tommy Robinson is of the UK society. Just fucking stupid, man. I live in the country of my bedroom. Might as well. I mean, those terms are just interchangeable. But this comparison reveals what makes the situation in the West Bank so peculiar. In the UK, Robinson is widely seen as a fringe actor. He is excluded from politics and shunned by those close to government. And yet, here was a situation where a similar figure enjoys enormous clout within the Israeli cabinet and who has the protection of an army in her project of settlement expansion. As the Haaretz journalist Ethan Netchen said, responding to Goldsmith, their representatives are literally sitting in the government and control everything from the police to the treasury. He never claimed what he's saying he created. You're making baseless and absurd. It's baseless and absurd. Tommy gets out of fucking jail. Yeah, Tommy Robinson is a piece of shit. Don't get that wrong. He's fucking shit. He's shit. I don't need to prove anything. I'm not reading other people's articles like they are my points on. Look at how desperate this is. This is exactly what I keep talking about. So I've said it now repeatedly. Why don't you tell me what part I'm getting wrong? And because this doofus can't, he's just going to keep saying stupid things. Because you know I'm sitting here going, yeah, this is mine. I wrote this. I wrote this. But the urgency here is that the West Bank settlers are a bellwether for whether society may be going into countries across the world or across the West. In the past, the settler agenda has been supported by governments on both the left and the right, but it's currently being embraced by populist leaders and elements of the far right who find much to like about the ethno-nationalistic and anti-democratic character. Around the same time that the documentary aired, Israel's National Security Minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, who is a total fucking war criminal piece of shit, like, there is nothing redeemable about this guy, who is a settler, was being hosted at Mar-a-Lago. Go figure. Tommy gets out of jail. ST, the end of the month, Tommy or Steven. Yeah, Tommy Robinson is just a fake character. He's just a fake character that they use to push the anti-Muslim agenda. Because the first time I heard about Tommy Robinson, It was because he was trying to expose the Muslim grooming gangs, the Muslim rape gangs that are in the UK. And I just thought that's, if you're so concerned about rape and especially child rape and whatnot in the UK, why aren't you focused on the fucking the monarchy? Go inside. The monarchy is you know, they've been raping and killing forever. Everything about them is stolen. They are the Saxe-Urs, and they are actually J. That's why they look like it. That's why I'm live, so. Yeah, okay, I'll come by. Right on. Steven's his name. Really? Man, I have to look into that. But I mean, he's a little tiny little weirdo clown. Like, he's a joke. Why would you always have to ask this? Why would someone, just a normal person like him, be elevated to the position he is if he's not one of them? If you've been following me for any length of time, you know that I have been able to create a situation to where my videos get at least 20,000 views multiple times on multiple platforms. And then I get shut down. Why doesn't that happen to Tommy Robinson? Any demo he's Eve, I don't know what the fuck you just said, and then you just retract your comment, so I don't know. But he wouldn't be someone that we all know. He wouldn't be a fucking famous person if he wasn't part of the scheme. They don't let people like us get anywhere. You know? I mean, when you think about Kanye West, Kanye has been saying all kinds of shit. It's not national news. Right? Nobody's talking about what Kanye's saying. But when they needed Kanye to be the distraction while they put the Netanyahu coalition, the most racist supremacist coalition ever existing in Israel, openly racist and supremacist. They're all the same, but they used Kanye to distract us. And everybody was like, oh, Kanye's going to unalive himself. No, he's not. Kanye was doing his job. But when Kanye was doing his job, it was national news. Now that Kanye is just speaking out, well, that's nobody cares. You won't acknowledge that because you won't acknowledge that because me particularly or partially agreeing with you doesn't support your delusion. What? Right, I don't acknowledge what people say. So again, let me put it to you again, because I guess you're too stupid to understand, because you avoid the questions, you avoid things. Tell me something I'm getting wrong to justify your nonsense. Come on, tell me. Give me something. This is how, and then begging for my, please acknowledge me, acknowledge me. Oh. Fucking goofy clown. It's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I wish I had better opposition. I wish I had people that could point out what I'm getting wrong so then I could better myself. I could go looking into it and try to figure things out and, oh shit, am I getting this thing wrong? Okay, well then I need to go look. I need to educate myself. I need to do. But it just doesn't happen because I'm not wrong. There's nothing I'm wrong about. You can't just make up that I'm wrong because I'll just prove it right. And everything you say actually makes me look better. So
What?
you put two.
When are you ever gonna
The little ones? The urgency here is the West Bank settlers. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Itmar Ben-Gvir was hosted at Mar-a-Lago, and also a film about extreme West Bank settlers isn't simply about a region of the Middle East, it's also about us. While the global response to the settlers has been encouraging in the main, While the global response to the settlers has been encouraging in the main, there is also an aspect to it that is deflating. As Peter Osborne pointed out, quite rightly, in a sympathetic review, this film tells us nothing new about the situation in the occupied West Bank. The facts were well known to those paying attention, from the Oscar-winning No Other Land to ITV's Our Land, Israel's Other Way, a documentary that includes extraordinary scenes of settlers seizing control of farmland and making veiled references to intimidation and displacement. I mean, just go look at the Morgan Spurlock film. Where in the world is whatever. Be safe, have fun. Where in the world is Osama bin Laden? When Morgan Spurlock went to Israel, he was attacked. He was literally attacked. Any demonstration I've seen him at, he's just inciting anger, almost to the point of a script, just hatred. For someone so used to public speaking as he was becoming, he seemed off to me. It was falling off, so I'll put it back on tonight when you get home.
You're not trying to get a golden ticket.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that was the other reason. I don't really care anymore. One of the sadder and more outrageous results of our film involved the Palestinian activist Issa Amro. Amro lives in Hebron, a West Bank city that, since 1968, has had 700 or so settlers living at its very heart in a cordon of Israeli military occupation. In a cordon? We filmed Amro on a walk through this so-called sterile zone, the term the army uses. Just a few days after the film aired, Issa reported on his social media that he had been harassed by settlers and soldiers at his home in what appeared to be a reprisal for his participation in our documentary. Our team got in touch with him and did its best to provide appropriate support. I mean, the examples are just everywhere. Yeah. This is just stupid. I'm supposed to this guy wants me to keep reading the same dumb comments where he doesn't actually acknowledge what's being said. I should read the comments where he refuses to answer the one simple question I give him. One simple question is what am I getting wrong? Tell me some piece that I'm getting wrong. Like, if you are as legit as you pretend to be, you would publicly acknowledge the criticism. When do I avoid the criticism? I mean, at some point, how much do I have to read the same crybaby avoidance of what I'm saying? I'm not going to keep reading your dumb shit, but I don't think I ever back away from criticism. I keep asking you one simple question that you refuse to answer because you can't. And all you're doing is proving it. Yep. Go fuck yourself. How about that one? Read that. Just keep proving what I'm saying. Keep proving how stupid you are. The scholar and writer Hamza Yusuf said on X that the outrage over everything depicted in The Settlers says a lot about how well the media has shielded the public from the brutal reality of Israel's occupation. As proud as I am of the film, I know that our documentary could never capture the full impact of what is unfolding in the West Bank. The reality of the displacement and harassment is often in interactions that are more extreme than those I saw. So I am grateful for the reaction. I encourage people to read and consume more on the subject. I'm glad we were able to show as much as we did. I also wish we could have shown more. Interesting how The Guardian is the only one. I mean, this is like mainstream. You can't hide behind this being too fringe. All right, let's see. Look at me. The other part that doesn't get acknowledged is I don't know what this shit's going to say. This shit could say anything. I could be reading the Israeli news, and it could be, because I put Israel into the Google machine and then I click news. I could be reading it and it could be nothing but pro-Israel good stuff, showing how Israel is helping people and all that. This guy didn't have to go far to find psychopathic Israelis. As a matter of fact, I'm sure he had a hard time finding ones that weren't. And at the end of the day, Israel is just the fucking invisible shell, right? It's just the manufactured shell. Israel is not a thing. You know, Israel can grow and shrink as perception grows and shrinks. It's the J cult that is the problem. They are disgusting, disgusting, horrible human beings who sexually assault and mutilate their own children. Imagine what they would do to everybody else. Here we go. You're a sad, mentally ill male, ranting to them people on YouTube. I'm living my life while using you as background noise. See, he's trying to like cover for himself here. Oh, he's out there living his life. Yet, anytime I go live, he's here crying. The whole time, he's out there living his life. Get off my lawn. Get out of here, I'll kick your nose. Don't tell on me. Don't you tell on me. Don't you tell on me. Oh no. U.S. confirms plan for private firms to deliver Gaza aid. That's a day ago. UAE rejects Israeli request to fund Gaza aid plan, says it fails to address crisis. See, they're not. It's good that they're even putting it in there, right? But again, notice how I'm because this doofus can't point out a single thing I'm getting wrong. You would think, again, given the platform, given the opportunity to point out something I've said wrong, he would take it. You know, I'm saying I'm reading your stuff. I keep reading it. It's my ball now. Yeah, I got to keep it. That's what the police told me. They came here, they said, if a ball ever comes in your... What? Oh my gosh. I'm calling the police on you. Amid blockade, Trump and Israel mull divisive plan for Gaza. News about India, Israel, Pakistan. India's drone strike in Pakistan spotlights Israel's role in South Asian conflict. Right, because they're using Israeli drones. I'm willing to tell you... Okay, so listen, because I don't read comments, right? I'm willing to tell you you are wrong, but you won't acknowledge it because you're ill-prepared to counter it. Isn't me reading your dumbass comments, acknowledging it, and then calling you out for being the fucking clown you are? So I'm willing to read all the comments about how I won't acknowledge comments, but I'm not willing to read the comments. This guy is coming up for excuses. It's my fault why he can't tell me what I'm wrong about. This is so typical Israeli bullshit. That's not my yard. I don't care. Oh, yeah? Israeli kamikaze drones take center stage in India-Pakistan conflict. Editor's notes. Hypocrisy of silence on Kashmir's massacre and the West's moral failure. Oh, the Jerusalem Post is gonna cry because there's not as much attention on the Kashmir massacre than there is on what Israel's doing. This will be an example of Matthew. This is Matthew right here. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. Harvard Yard, spring 2025. After a brutal massacre of 26 innocent civilians by armed terrorists, students leap into action. Encampments spring up overnight. Social justice clubs organize teach-ins. Professors sign petitions. Placards demand justice for Kashmir. Stop Pakistani terror. And from Palaga to The Hague. Pelagam to The Hague. The world responds in outrage. Western capitals condemn the attack. The UN convenes an emergency session. The media calls it what it is, a terror attack. If only, but they do that to us. Well, I don't think India has been systematically wiping out Pakistan, or the other way around, Pakistan, what I don't remember. Or Pakistan's been, whatever, for 80 years, you know. Like this is the stupidity. This is Matt. This is Matthew. This is the exact same thing. Instead of actually acknowledging the problem or acknowledging what they're trying to obfuscate things. Whoa, oh, look at what they're doing. How come nobody's making such a big deal about it like they do with us? But that's not the reality, because this time the victims were Indian civilians, most of them Hindu, gunned down in cold blood by Pakistani terrorists in a scenic valley of Pahalgam, Kashmir. So this is again how stupid they are, because they're comparing what they're doing to the Pakistani terrorists, gunning people down in cold blood. They're saying, look, when we are the terrorists gunning people down in cold blood, everybody says that. But when Pakistan does it, nobody's saying anything. And suddenly, the world is quiet. No tents, no hashtags, no solidarity, no moral outrage. The same voices that erupt when Israel defends itself. Oh, how did I know this was going to be this exact thing? I mean, I just, you know. Right. So now Matthew is saying, he just did tell me what I was wrong about by saying, I am telling you, you are wrong, but you won't. What am I wrong about, you dumb fucking clown? You didn't just tell me what I was wrong about. You just did the reason why you won't tell me what I'm wrong about. You just did this thing where, again, you're so stupid, you don't even realize what you're doing. Israel is so stupid that they don't even realize what they're doing. When Israel defends itself against terror, are silent now. They're literally comparing themselves to terrorist gunmen murdering people in cold blood, but because they say that they're defending themselves while doing it, that's somehow supposed to make it okay. The same campuses that turned into 24/7 protest zones after October 7th have nothing to say about April 22nd. Because the October 7th the protest that happened before, long before and after October 7th, they just intensified after October 7th. They're about much more than one day. But again, these dumb Jays think that this makes sense. These dumb Jays think that what they're saying makes sense. No vigils, no outrage, no headlines, just silence. On that day, Pakistani-backed terrorists opened fire on Indian tourists, killing 26 people. Well, and that's the other thing. When you're comparing the death of 26 people to the death of, I mean, the official count is like 50,000, but it's more like 250, 300,000 people have been killed. But now they're trying to compare the deaths of 26 people to the tens of thousands that have been killed by Israel. And they're like, why is everybody so quiet? We're just killing people. We're starving a whole community. We're raping them. We're taking pictures. Our soldiers are raiding the underwear drawers and taking pictures and all this shit. They shot 26 people. Why isn't everybody all upset about that? It's such a fucking insane joke. Oh, they know what they've been doing, all right. Of course they do. But they're just too stupid. They're too stupid. Like they literally, somebody approved this in the Jerusalem Post. Because they know a whole bunch of Jays will hear this and be like, oh yeah, he's so right. Why is it like this? Why is everybody so loud about this? Like it's just so stupid. It should tell you. There's a pretty good reason why the 26 people killed by Pakistan in India don't compare to the fucking tens of thousands that have been killed by Israel. But again, I couldn't ask for them to do better, right? Like it's better than if they were actually acknowledging things, because this is the best that they can do. The best that they can do is such unbridled stupidity. It's amazing. It shows you just how dumb these fucking Jays are. Isn't it funny? Matthew is claiming that the comments where he tells me that what exactly I'm wrong about, those keep getting blocked. Then why don't you just keep doing them? Why don't you write it out and then copy it? And then if it gets blocked, then you can post it again and again until it's been seen. The name Guy is Hebrew. Yeah, sure it is. What does that have to do with it? So now we're going to get into me being more important than all of this other stuff. These dumb Jays will talk about anything but what they're doing. If you open up the books on Israel, you demonize Israel. On that day, Pakistani-backed terrorists opened fire on Indian tourists, killing 26 people. Fathers, husbands, grandfathers, sons. Listen to how stupid these people are. Jesus Christ. A disabled woman had to crawl down a mountain to safety. Right, she crawled down a mountain. A 20-year-old was grazed by a bullet while shielding his family. The killers asked victims to recite Islamic verses to prove they weren't Hindu before executing them. What the fuck? This is making it so difficult to read. Like, seriously, it's so... The shit that's going on this article as I'm trying to read it is hilarious. This is terrorism, pure and simple. And now see, now they're saying what Pakistan terrorists killing 26 people is doing is absolute terrorist. And they should be being acknowledged for being terrorists. But yet they're going to say what they're doing is the same thing, but it's not terrorism. And yet the West can't seem to find its voice. When Hamas slaughtered Israelis on October 7th, no, they didn't. The world couldn't decide whether to condemn the butchers or the butchered. Now it can't even muster confusion, just silence. India, unlike India, you know, who sold Israel slaves. In Delhi, India, they sold 42,000 slaves to Israel. 38,000 earmarked for construction, 4,000 for elderly care. I have been, but for some reason they aren't coming. Gee, that sounds convenient, doesn't it? This dude can say all kinds of dumb shit all the time, and that comes through. But when he's telling me directly what I'm wrong about, nope, those don't come through. Why would I give a fuck about my name as opposed to the genocide going on, you desperate clown? What publication are we reading at the moment? The Jerusalem Post. It couldn't be any better. India, unlike many of its critics, didn't stay silent. It responded. Within days, the Indian military launched targeted strikes across the line of control. Again, which is probably why the Palestinians, you know, we support, because there is no Palestinian military. Yup, I'm a self-hating Jew. That's what it is. Yep. Even so I always say this because, again, this is how stupid they are, right? This is how stupid the Jays are. If I could say that I come from that cult and I'm a better person because I don't support that, even though my family, I was brainwashed by that cult, but I'm smart enough to see it for what it is and refuse to support it, that would make my argument better, right? My argument would be so much stronger if I actually was Jay, which is, you know, Again, this is, I guess we're sort of insinuating that J is a race, even though it's not. It's a fucking choice. It's an idea. It's a belief. These weren't random attacks. They were precise retaliations against the Lashkar el-Trib and Janish el-Muhammad training centers. Again, there is no Palestinian training center. The fact that these dumbasses are trying to compare themselves to this, thinking it makes them look good, it's Matthew. It's Matthew. It's the same fucking thing, man. Pakistan, predictably, denied everything. They claimed victimhood. Then escalated. That's what Israel does. They're literally calling out another country for doing, another state, sorry, the state of Pakistan, because that's how they refer to themselves all the time, right? The state of Pakistan versus the state of India. Escalated. Drone attacks, airspace closures, and threats of war followed. It's what Israel did. I just can't believe they're this stupid, man. Actually, I can, because this is how stupid they always are. Clearly, evidence shows otherwise. But the world still didn't blink. No front page outrage, no sanctions, no Nobel Prize winners calling for restraint. 26 people. The dumbass Israelis are comparing the death of 26 people to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, if you actually sort of pay attention. You're still alive? How are you still alive? Because, you know, the guy talking about these things is a bad guy. A battle of wits with an unarmed man. Always tries to haggle with his dealer. Okay. See, it's funny because I'm literally reading the Jerusalem Post, and yet they have nothing to say about the direct things being said. We've seen this script before because we as Israelis live it every day. India is Israel in this story. India is Israel. India is the one that got attacked. Israel and India are the same in this. Not Pakistan. Not the ones doing it. Gotcha. A democracy fighting for it. Right. Jesus Christ. And this thing just keeps flipping. It's so weird. Okay. India is Israel in the story. A democracy fighting for its citizens' lives, accused of escalating simply by refusing to die quietly. Holy shit. And the thing is, this isn't even just Israeli propaganda. This is news that I'm reading here in the United States. And Pakistan, like Hamas, because Pakistan has all these weapons, hides behind plausible deniability while exporting terror with impunity. Pakistan has a military. Pakistan has a government. Pakistan is not under Indian occupation. But there's a difference this time. Israel's not alone. In cities of Europe, particularly in London, Indian protesters rallied not just for justice, but in solidarity with Israel. I'd love to see that. I bet you the Indians aren't real cool with them being associated with the Israelis. At one demonstration, Indian flags waved beside Israeli ones. The message was loud and clear. Same struggle, same enemies, same hypocrisy. One Indian demonstrator even quoted as saying, "You have Palestine, we have Pakistan." What the fuck is going on? And of course, there's no, this is just allowed to exist. There's no counterpoint. No, this person doesn't have to answer for what they did. Now, Matthew's back to calling people mental patients again, because because mental illness is just something you throw out there as a joke and as it's just mental illness, and but this is what Israelis do. Literally, it's like I'm reading the same shit. You see the same thing over and over again. The bond is no accident. For years, India and Israel have shared more than just technology and trade. We share intelligence, we share weapons development, we share democratic values, and increasingly, we share the same battlefield, the war on radical Islamic terror. During Israel's most recent war, India stood with us, quietly but firmly. Yeah, India stood with them. I saw that, didn't you? Supporting India's right to defend itself. Now, India has a right to defend itself. This is just a joke, man. We must be vocal in supporting India's right to defend itself. We must push for international condemnation of Pakistan's terror infrastructure. Right. You're supposed to call out Pakistan for their terrorist activities, but not Israel. This is how stupid they are. I guess anti-Semitism is cool in the psycho community. Yeah, because again, let's talk about what words mean. Semitism is the policy or predisposition favorable to the Jays. It's supremacy. So proudly, I stand against supremacy, especially their supremacy over the rest of us. But keep going, please. Keep commenting stupid shit. All you're doing is making my argument for me. We must expose the media's double standard, and we must remind our own communities that Israel is a true friend that India is a true friend of Israel, not just in times of peace, but especially in times of bloodshed. So what can we do? We can publicly support Israel's right to defend itself, just as we what are you doing? Just as we expect support when Israel is attacked. There's no proof of the attack either. It's literally just bullshit. We could call out the hypocrisy. Why are there protests when Israel retaliates, but none when Pakistan sponsors terrorism? Israel, everything was fine. Everything was fine prior to October 7th. If October 7th attack was real, which it wasn't, if it was clearly in response. It was in response to the just awful treatment that's been happening. Do you know that prior to, I wonder if prior to April 22nd, the Indian people had killed 243 or 273 Pakistanis prior to. Like, Israel had killed at least 240 people, civilians, prior to October 7th. So that would mean if Hamas really did respond, it was to defend itself. That goes back to the same complaint about the apple he bought for 20 cents. That makes sense. Oh, guy goes back to the store to complain. Yep, I go back to the store to... This is, again, so instead of telling me what I'm wrong about, now you have a couple of them here, so they're stroking each other. Oh, you like that? Oh, I like, give me the reach around. Oh. Yet still, nobody has told me what I'm wrong about. Apparently, I'm complaining about apples at stores now. Because I'm the type of Jay that would complain about paying. I paid 20 cents for this apple. It wasn't what I expected it to be. I demand my money back plus another 20 cents to cover my losses. And, somebody else paid for it too. Don't forget that. This is fucking insane. We can strengthen. Wait. Why are there no protests when Israel, but none when Palestine? We can strengthen military and intelligence cooperation between Israel and India, overtly or discreetly. Our security depends on partnerships with those who face the same threats. I mean, seriously, wouldn't you be just disgusted if you were India? It's right there, dude. Yep. Wouldn't you be just disgusted if you were Indian and you saw them trying to make the comparison? India's not out there committing genocide. India didn't just take somebody's land and then kill them for it. India didn't kill 240 plus Pakistanis prior to the attack. It's fucking insane. Oh, look, we have another one of these fake fucking J profiles here. The same ones that come here every day. Because I must be wrong. Right there. Come on, guy. Come on, it's bright pink and green. You can't see it. Maybe that's why you can't hit it. Oh. And we must challenge the silence on social media, in op-eds and in public forums. We must make noise. We must tell stories of the 26 Indian victims. Oh my God. Oh. At least it's 26. It's not around 1,100. Yeah, they killed around 20 people. We must tell the story of the 26 Indian victims just as we told the story of those murdered on October 7th. But you haven't. Right? You haven't. This guy doesn't get laid. Thanks. So now my sexual activity is more important than genocide. Boy, sounds like you're really reaching here. Yep. See, this is how stupid they are, because now they're even checking each other. Like, hey, stupid, don't say stupid things. It's making us. We're already looking really stupid, and then you go and say something that's stupid, makes us look even dumber. Come on, man. Don't say stupid things. So fucking funny. All of these people that have nothing but time to watch me. Are you okay? Okay.
It was hilarious.
Matt was the bitch ass blaming me to block him or begging me to block him because he knows he can't. He's making himself and his cause look really stupid. So if I block him, and then at least he has that excuse. Well, I was just about to say something, but then he blocked me. Remember, this is the same Matthew that just can't seem to come up with a single thing I'm getting wrong while I'm reading the Jerusalem Post. This is just amazing. This is amazing. Anyone want to help me out? Can anyone else come up with something that he's wrong about? I can't do it myself. Can anyone come up with... Because he's, goblin dicks. Anyone else come up with something that I'm getting wrong, please? Please come up with something that he's getting wrong, because I can't do it. I can't do it. How did they know we met in the mental hospital? Right, I know, they must have eyes on us, huh? In the mental hospital that you in Scotland go to and the one that I here in Michigan go to. Same mental hospital. This is literally all they did. And then this dumbass comes on here and begs, hey, anyone else, please come help me. He keeps calling me out because I can't actually point to anything he's getting wrong. Please, somebody come help me out, please. Please, I'm really weak. Please. I'm super desperate. Please, somebody else say something intelligent. I can't do it. It's pretty fucking awesome. It's awesome. Thank you so much, Matthew. Thank you so much for being such a piece of shit. I love this. I love it. Well, Terry, then go fuck yourself. Because, you know me, I wish all you pedos would just kill yourself. That would be so much easier. But you won't do that because you have no balls. And notice how the one crybaby, please, somebody come help me. Tell him what he's getting wrong. I can't do it. And nobody can. Isn't it funny how nobody can tell me? India is one of Israel's most important defense partners. In recent years, it has become the largest purchaser of Israeli arms, including surveillance systems, drones, radar, and missile defense technology. And just like Israel, all of this technology just happened to fail on that one day, huh? Yep, because I'm the one that's known for, is this a new group of Bowmans? No, it's the same shit, Algo. Same fucking, I mean, look at it. Look at the crybaby shit. Oh, the earth is round and space is real. Oh, so now you want to get us talking about something else? Come on, Matthew, you can do better than that. Come on, let's stick with the topic at hand. When we talk about those other things, you're more than welcome to come try to get your way on that. But now you're just making dumb declarations. That, you know, there's a whole other argument to be had. We're talking about this right now, Matthew. Come on. Come on, little doggy. You can do it. Come on. Limited piece of shit. I'm only paid by the hour. And all out of ideas. This is just amazing. It's so validating. And it's so empowering. Along with the censorship, because I wouldn't be censored if I wasn't right. But along with the censorship and you know, the interference, the fact that this is the best they can come up with, it's just amazing. I mean, even if we went into the space and Earth thing, this dumbass wouldn't have any arguments to make. Well, the pictures NASA puts out, that proves it. And no matter what arguments I make to the contrary, they're not going to address them. And I mean, it's just the same crybaby shit. Please, if anybody else can come up with something that he's getting wrong, please tell him, please. Oh, it's so funny. Everybody agrees with me. But Matthew seems to think I'm getting stuff wrong. And he keeps telling me, but everything, all of his other comments come through except for the ones where he tells me exactly what I'm wrong about. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? The two countries have conducted joint military exercises, exchanged tactical knowledge in counterterrorism, and opened channels for cyber and homeland security cooperation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 2017 visit to Israel, the first ever by an Indian prime minister, was not only symbolic but strategic, sealing years of quiet collaboration with public warmth. I swear to God, did Matthew write this article? It's literally the same stupidity. India's support for Israel has been consistent and unambiguous, particularly when others waver. After October 7th, while many countries condemned Israel's response in Gaza, why? Just because they just hate the Israelis is no reason. It's the response. I love how they hide behind it's the response. Their response was to commit genocide. which they were bragging that they were going to do long before October 7th. And more than enough information has come out showing that October 7th is a false flag. Right? So Israel was behind the October 7th attack. Or you just think that the greatest, most well-funded trillions of dollars have been funneled into this area. The Iron Dome, all the technology, all the resources were foiled by goat herders with hang gliders. They somehow had hang gliders. That was what they came up with. Well, let's just say they used hang gliders. I mean, this is just a fucking joke. I don't know what's worse or funnier or more obvious. The idea that Israel just failed. The one time that an attack actually came their way, they just failed. Or that there's a comparison between these two. It abstained from several anti-Israel votes at the United Nations and stood firm against pressure to isolate us diplomatically. Israeli leaders have noted this with appreciation, and Indian media has, for the most part, offered coverage more balanced and fact-based than many Western outlets. Balanced and fact-based. What? What are we talking about here? Best security system in the world, just not plugged in that morning. Exactly. Oh, now Matthew's saying I won't be taken. Like, look at this. Again, can't tell me what I'm wrong about, but it's going to keep talking shit. And this is the person that watches every day for hours on end. The super gay guy who doesn't go after Trump supporters or anything else like that. I'm just so entertaining because I'm mentally ill. So when he's not watching me, he watches videos of retarded people and laughs at them, I guess, right? Because that shows what an awesome person he is. Like, even that whole thing that you're saying, oh, I just come here because you're mentally ill. So your thing is, instead of doing anything else in the world, you come to watch a mentally ill person and then make fun of them and talk shit. Man, you don't sound Israeli at all, do you? I can't get over him begging other people to come fight his fight for him. Sounds like Israel to me. Somebody else come fight this fight. I can't do it. I'm getting my ass kicked. Somebody else come fight for me, please. The friendship is rooted not just in politics, but in shared values and a shared threat. No, we wouldn't let him in our support group. No Jays allowed. There are more than 1 billion Hindus in the world, many of whom see Israel as an ally in the fight against extremism. Bullshit. We should embrace that alliance and amplify it, because when India defends itself, Israel doesn't just gain an ally, it gains a mirror. Oh my God. The insanity. And the reflection, though painful, is unmistakable. Sure it is. So that's why they bought all those slaves from India, because they look like them, because the slaves they had that did look like them weren't good enough. And they were planning on killing all of them. So they brought in these Indians, so when they treat them like shit, it's okay. So perhaps the next time a massacre like this happens, students at Harvard will pitch their tents. Just don't expect when the victims are Indian, the terrorists are Pakistani, and the narrative is inconvenient. Selective outrage is easy. Moral consistency is harder. See, again, they refuse to acknowledge this idea. Like, So are we saying that the students at Harvard and then all the people all over the world that condemn what's going, they just hate Israel for reasons? Israel is actually this wonderful country that helps out all these people and does all this good, and everybody just hates them for it, right? Is that what it is? The next time. This is fucking insane. Insane. This is just insane. I cannot believe these people are this fucking stupid. How do such stupid people have such control? I mean, I guess it has to do with the fact that we didn't have communication between us. The Goyim communication, our information, our knowledge base was solely programmed by them for such a long time. And as soon as we have the ability to communicate with each other, we realize, holy shit, we're all in the same team here. But it's just, it's so fucking stupid. I just can't even get over it, man. Hegseth cancels Israel trip to join Trump on Air Force One. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth cancels scheduled visit to Israel, sources tell the Post. Hegseth ditches planned Israel trip to travel with Trump. Yeah, he's the president of the United States. If the president says you should need to come with me, one of my lower level employees, Netabeth, Monday market revives itself once again. So let's see all those. I mean, it's funny how I put Israel into the Google machine, and yet not one positive Israel story pops up. Why? Trump eyes deals of the century with Saudis, leaving Israel little room to maneuver. Right, because we're going to give the Saudis, the Wahhabi sect of Islam, one of the most murderous, fucking disgusting countries in the world, a civilian nuclear program for nothing. Let's see what the Haaretz has to say about this. In March, shortly after I'm not allowed to read this one. Go figure. Launched massive airstrikes on Houthi bases in Yemen. He stated, and then it shuts. I can't. Trump's moves with the Houthis, Iran, Syria, and Turkey reveal the contours of his geopolitical map and reduce Israel into a bystander. The Gaza Strip could be next. What? Coffee top up, BRB. Yeah, I'll be here. Exclusive. Under Trump, Saudi civil nuclear talks delinked from Israel recognition, sources say. So let's do this. I'm going to click sort by date so we get the newest information. Beirut airport security overhaul thwarting Hezbollah smuggling, satisfying Israeli U.S. officials. See, I'm telling you, this whole bullshit that they're trying to say that Trump is sort of distancing from Israel and all that, you know it's bullshit because there's no catalyst. Right? They're not giving us the reason why all of a sudden the guy who pulled out Netanyahu's chair and shit like that is now suddenly making moves on his own. He hasn't made moves on his own without Israel's absolute stamp of approval the entire presidency. The previous presidency. The reason why Israel was able to do what they did is because of the Trump presidency. The Abraham Accords are some of the worst shit ever. YouTube censorship is as bad as Facebook's. Not quite, but yeah, it's close. Which tells you what you need to know again. If one, I was wrong, and two, everybody thought I was wrong, they would just let me exist and let the world tell me how I'm wrong. But even like yesterday, Once the clowns started agreeing with me on shit, even Matt was agreeing with me yesterday because we were talking about gay stuff. And well, he's gay, so it matters to him because he's gay and gay stuff matters. He doesn't care about children being killed because they're not his children. Trump remains frustrated at being unable to end Gaza, Ukraine, Russia wars. He looks really frustrated, doesn't he? Trump admitted to a group of private donors at his Florida club last week. Think about this. People love to make this big deal about how Trump doesn't take a salary. Trump doesn't take a salary. Well, if everything he does at Mar-a-Lago, that means Mar-a-Lago is getting paid out the ass because of all the secret security or the Secret Service members and all of the security and all the everything that has to go into the president going anywhere. If the president comes to your place, it's a huge income boom for you. So the fact that Trump consistently, I mean, he's having meetings and shit at his own place. Why isn't he having meetings in the White House or in Washington somewhere? Because he's getting paid well more than $400,000 to do all this. U.S. President Donald Trump has become increasingly frustrated at the difficulty in negotiating an end to the Israel-Hamas war. Right, because the Israelis keep saying that they're not going to stop. All they want to do is kill, kill, kill. Like, you know, this could have been ended immediately, right? If Israel would have stopped bombing, then all the hostages would have been given up and all that shit. That was like the immediate response was hey, just stop bombing us and we'll give you the hostages. And this is the other thing, is like so many of you have only been following this since October 7th. So you have a completely biased point of view. This shit's been going on the whole fucking time. It's appalling what Israel has been doing for decades. "2022 was the deadliest year for the Palestinians since 2006. 2004, 2006, whatever. Civilians, 200 plus civilians were killed. 2023 had already surpassed that in civilian deaths by October 7th. It was set up to be the deadliest year ever. Let's see where that is. Hang on a second. What's up, dude? Huh? All right, let me see. I can't remember where I put it. Let me see if I can find it. It's the drug dealers. The drug dealer wants my saw. You know that. You know how drug dealers are always like, "Hey, can I borrow your saw?" Yeah, hang on a sec. No. Oh, let's see. Where did I put that? Ooh, we're in the dark. We're in the dark. We're in the dark. Ooh, ooh. There it is. I think the other one's the better saw, right? I don't know. I'll use them both. The barrier system in effect. Oh, man. Oi. Oi vey. Kasha vega. Oi vey. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my Jesus. Watching our comments get censored sucks. Well, you must be telling me what I'm wrong about, right? Because according to Matthew, they block all the comments where people are telling me I'm wrong. Oh, forgot your cheeses.
Why do you have saws?
Because the drug dealer wants to borrow my saw. The old man. you know, the super poor old man. He's a drug dealer.
Oh no, 100%. He always asks for money so he can buy cocaine.
And cocaine. I don't know which one's better, so. Whenever, man. Don't worry about it. Oops. All good. Conflict has been a challenge as they'd been fighting for thousands of years. Oh, that's the problem. The problem is fighting for thousands of years. While now feeling the pressure from after taking a big diplomatic game, after talking a big diplomatic game, Trump has previously asserted that neither the Israel-Hamas war nor the Russia-Ukraine war would have broken out under his presidency. Yeah, remember that? Remember that? Remember how he kept claiming that none of this would happen? It'd just take one phone call for him to fix it all. Remember? Just like he said that the gas and food prices were going to go down. He said that all it would take was one phone call to get the wars to stop. Guess that didn't work out well, huh? On multiple occasions... Oh, wait. We're now broken out on pointing the blame at the Biden administration. On multiple occasions, Trump promised to solve the Russia-Ukraine war on day one, a promise left unfulfilled, which has fueled criticism from experts. Not enough, though. Can't mention Juice or Team Goyim. Isn't that weird? Well, make it work. Just use numbers where the vowels should go. That's what I always do. I do that regardless, just so they can't. No matter what I'm commenting on, I just use the numbers for vowels, and seems to overthrow the system. Kyle Haynes, a professor of U.S. foreign policy at Purdue University, told the Wall Street Journal, if he hadn't promised such things repeatedly throughout the campaign, it'd be widely unfair to criticize him for failing to achieve them. But he did. That was, okay, so I'd say it was 50-50. Prior to the election, the Trump pansies would come in and say things like, they would either say the gas and food prices, or they'd bring up the borders, and then they'd talk about the wars. The wars would be the secondary thing that, there's all these wars going on that weren't going on when Trump was in office. Because stupid people think that this Israel-Hamas thing just sort of started on October 7th. But these were the main arguments: the gas and the food prices, the border, and ending the wars. None of that shit's come true. Bluster and theatrics have their role in diplomatic high wire acts, but so do details and hard work. Dan Bayer, a former ambassador in the Obama administration, who is now at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace in Washington. I wonder how much he gets paid for that position, that made-up, manufactured position that, the Carnegie Endowment. Doesn't that get fucking federal funds? Despite early success in seeing a hostage deal, I am so sick of that shit. I'm just so sick of this idea that the most important element is getting those Israeli hostages back. Never mind the thousands and thousands of hostages taken by Israel just in 2023 alone. Not only did they kill 243 plus people, they took thousands of people illegally hostage. They illegally arrested thousands. There's my drug dealer's car. The old man. They took thousands and thousands of people, kids, hostages. They were taking kids hostage. And they've been torturing them and raping them. And all of this is just pretty commonplace, commonly known information. And yet, Oh, you just threw it back here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll get it for you guys.
I at least put it somewhere.
Yeah, well, that makes a difference. Despite early success in seeing a hostage deal, Trump's green light policy towards Israeli military operations in the Gaza Strip has reportedly sown discord among some of his staffers. I sense it's more challenging than they hoped. Alan Dershowitz, the biggest fucking piece of shit, fucking rapist, Epstein Island, Virginia Goofer. And I haven't heard Alan Dershowitz's name mentioned in a long, long fucking time. And now suddenly, Virginia Giuffre's character is retired. Now Dershowitz is back in the spotlight. Gosh, I'm sure that's just more of that coincidence that Matthew seems to love so much. I guess Matthew got his ass kicked pretty good, huh? He done runned away when nobody came to help him. Somebody please come help me. Somebody come make some arguments because I'm not smart enough to make arguments. Somebody please come tell this guy what he's wrong about. I can't do it. And so I pointed that out, that's what happened. And lo and behold, he's gone. Or is he just fucking suddenly quiet now? Thaddeus Jr. over here. I sure do miss Thaddeus. You guys see this, right? I mean, I know Karen sees it. Karen's telling it. She sees it. Isn't it funny? Had all that shit to talk. Claimed that every time he told me I was wrong, his comment was getting removed. Yet, let him call us mentally ill and say everything else he says, and none of those comments were removed. Nobody bothered to remove his comment when he was begging for help. Please help me. Please, somebody help me. I do have to give it up to DAP. I got to make a side note. Dads Against Predators. I was wondering why I don't see their videos anymore. But there's a page on Facebook that shows a lot of their videos. And apparently, they've been beating the shit out of pedos. It's fucking amazing. My kids and I watched it yesterday. And it's like, in any other situation, it would be really hard to watch. Watching, people crying, please, I'm sorry, please. Please don't do this. Watching them get beat up, watching them get robbed. In any other situation, that would be hard to watch. But when it's crybaby fucking pedos who were there to meet a fucking teenager, and now they're crying because of their own security, their own safety, it actually reminds me of Matthew. Wouldn't be surprised if Matthew was a real person. He's not. But if Matthew was caught on one of those videos. This is just amazing. It's amazing how this is working. Because you have guys like Algo who have been here for like 10 fucking years, right? Algo's been following me for quite some time. How'd you like the new COVID sauce song, Algo? But he was part of the other side at one point, telling me, I'm wrong. It's bigger than Israel. It's this, that, and the other. I'm wrong about this, and Trump's gonna be the savior. Trump's gonna fix things, and he was on that side. Yeah, well, he was on that side. He has since changed, and I have to give credit for that, because apparently that's a lot harder to do than most people realize. But then again, all goes mentally ill, so maybe that makes sense, right? But you've seen it. For 10 years, I've been steadfast, man. I say that my narrative changed, and it did. It outwardly changed, and I swore that I was going to focus on the Israel stuff in January of 2020. I made the declaration that I wasn't going to be distracted by all the other bullshit anymore, and I was just going to try to focus on cutting off Israel and using that money to kill pedos. But the reality is, if you go look at songs like the Samson option was made in like 2016 or something, 17 maybe. I've actually been talking about this for a long time. I haven't wavered. You know, I've been proud of myself, and I've learned to be like this. I mean, this, you know, I grew up in the same situation, the same society you did, that was told we're not allowed to talk about these things. So part of me thought I wasn't supposed to talk about these things. But it took years, and finally I you know, grew the balls to say it. But you've seen it. I'm not some bandwagon freak. Look at that, normal natural clouds. That's just what normal natural clouds do. Right? They just divide into even segments. Just each one exactly the same distance apart. That's just what clouds do. But you see this, you see it for what it is, man. Yeah. Thank you. What? What? Will do. Thank you. What? Well, aren't you fucking awesome? Well, we appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, it's just fucking crazy, right? It's crazy. This has been going on for such a long time, and for such a long time, it was so taboo, and there wasn't nearly as much outrage and outcry. And it's crazy to you know, what made me the outcast is now making me like I'm the one that's right. I've been right. You know, you can't sit here and say, point out a bunch of shit I've gotten wrong. If you try, you have to ask for help. Please help me. Please, somebody help me. I bet we won't see Matthew too much anymore. Because every time he shows up, he's just going to hear the same shit. But that character will retire. But you have to see it for what it is. You know, this isn't about anything. It's you know, people don't just have hatred because they do. You know, it's just, oh, I just hate this one group of people for no fucking reason. Usually when people are racist about something, it's because, especially here in the States, if you're racist to people of color, your whole society has been racist your whole life, but then maybe a black guy beats you up, or a black guy steals your girlfriend, or something like that. So you find your reasoning to do it. The hatred of the Israelis, I'm not supposed to feel that way. I'm not supposed to talk about the Jays. Right? This was something that I had to like the society wasn't pushing me in that direction. I have no religious connection, so it has nothing to do with foolish Christianity. It's solely based on, you know, the information available. And why and how anybody could still support Israel or even begin to is just insane. It's just insane. Alan Dershowitz, who met with Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff. Why is Dershowitz even a fucking thing? Dershowitz is a fucking pedo, man. Multiple times accused pedo. Well, that's the end of that article. That's all that article was it ended like that. All right, let's see. Hamas publishes video of Elkanah Bamshat, Bahat, and Yusuf Haim. I don't understand what this is. Times of Israel. Hamas's military wing, which they don't have a military. They're not a country. You don't have a military if you don't exist. Hamas's military wing releases a propaganda video featuring hostages Elkanah Bolbat and Yusuf Haim Ohana. Hamas has previously issued similar videos of hostages in its holding in what Israel says are deplorable psychological warfare. So, oh God, this is going to be ridiculous. So when the hostages come out and kiss their captors, or they talk about, well, the reason we don't look like shit is because we were taken good care of, and all that propaganda bullshit, it's because they're being forced into it. Somehow Hamas, this make-believe organization, has all of the technology and resources to be able to fake this shit, make up and all that shit, right? This is just insane. The Hostages and Missing Families Forum has asked that Israeli media not publish the videos or stills from the clip until the family approves them. That's it? I don't understand what the... Of course, this is the Israeli video. Israel at war, day 582. 582 days of bombing the shit out of people. So I guess they're not going to show that then? Netanyahu's coalition drops to 48 seats as opposition gain ground poll. Doesn't matter. They can't get rid of Netanyahu. The way they did this last election put him in office until he quits. As Syria's Druze minority reels from violence, Israel pursues an opening. Let's see. Attacks on the Druze by Islamist gunmen, right? Because somehow, oh, can't read that one. Shut that shit down. Somehow, in the middle of Israel, Iron Dome just isn't helping this one group of people, huh? By the way, if you're watching, don't forget to like, share, and sub. That shit helps out. I really appreciate it if you take 2 seconds to share this on Facebook. You could even share it with the idea, this guy's crazy. Come tell him why he's crazy. Something, but share it.
Dad, will you tell Nate when he grabs the Dragon Ball, since I don't have all the characters in the universe, if he could wish for me on my account?
I have to tell him that, or he has the option to do it, and he's choosing not to because of how you treat him.
I don't know.
Which one do you think it is?
Option B.
So, why don't you try treating him better, and maybe he'll be happy to do those things for you.
It's my turn anyway. Nate, can I have the universe, please? I don't care. I really don't.
So, why don't you let him make a wish for a change?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Whenever I got the Dragon Balls before...
No, not whenever.
Yes, it was whenever I collected all 7 Dragon Balls.
Dude, that is just not true. I was here for that. I know what happened.
But
You've gotten lots of the wishes, and besides, this is stupid.
I want to get all the characters though, and I can't do that without the wishes.
Okay, so get your own thing and do your own thing.
You can't do well without all the characters? Nothing.
Okay. Ugh. Can you imagine how difficult it is for them as kids to try to pull off bullshit in this house? I'm doing something right now. Give me a minute. Yep. Yes.
As soon as he closes the door, he says, when it's my turn to play, I'm going to be collecting all the Dragon Balls, and then I'm going to wish for it.
Okay.
I'm already doing the work for him.
Okay, well then you have your own account or whatever, right?
No, we have to share the Dragon Balls. We share everything.
Okay, so how many do you have?
I'm going to collect them all.
Well, you don't have time. So how many do you have already?
1.
Okay, so if he uses that one Dragon Ball, the chances of him getting all the other 6 by the time that the time switches is he won't.
It's my turn.
So let him do the work and get as many Dragon Balls as he can, and then he won't get all 7 by the time this hour's up, so it'll work out. Can't kid a kidder. Can't shit a shitter. IDF officer recounts Jabalia IED blast. Mission to recover Orion Shaw's body. Orion Shaw. So Israel goes around and kills people to get dead bodies. Colonel M, the intelligence officer for the IDF Division 162, narrowly survived a powerful explosion in Jabalia that claimed the life of his friend and commanding officer, Colonel Iksan Daxa of the 401st Brigade. In his first public interview, M described the attack, the emotional weight of leadership, and the renewed push to recover hostages held by Hamas in Gaza. Just bullshit. I mean, it's just bullshit. I'm not even reading this. It's fucking stupid. Israeli military plans to expand strikes in Yemen, targets in Iran, report. Well, here you go. Israeli military is planning to expand strikes in Yemen and potentially target certain locations inside Iran, according to Israeli media. They won't target Iran. Iran will fuck them up. Right? Oh, you weren't here, dumbass number 56. Matt was begging for your help earlier. Where were you? Somebody else, please come in here and tell him what he's wrong about, because I can't do it. Where were you? Now you're calling him out. Interesting. Israel's attacks on the Houthis in Yemen will proceed without any restrictions, said a report in the Yeduith Honorath newspaper, citing unnamed security sources. Iran will not emerge unscathed from this exchange of attacks with Yemen. It has not been an exchange of attacks. One missile supposedly hit some unoccupied area next to the airport. Supposedly. According to the IDF, according to Israel, one missile didn't kill anybody, didn't destroy anything. In response to Israel attacking Yemen, and then Israel attacked after that, because, you know, Yemen is Iran backed. I never call anybody a retard. That's what you stupid asses do, right? I don't use stuff like that. I don't call people mentally ill. I call you what you are, you sick fucking pedophile, genocide supporting piece of shit. But notice how, again, another profile is sitting here trying to get me to talk about something else. Why do you want me to talk about something that we can't actually, like, the earth shape argument is such a distraction. It's so obvious that we don't live on a ball flying through space, but all of the proof provided by my side will just get ignored. Right? And this is what they do. They know that this argument is one that we just can't, you know, until we goyim overthrow the Jays that control the fucking narrative, we can't actually officially prove one way or another, right? The shape of the earth. But this person, instead of talking about the genocide happening right now, this person keeps wanting to go have an argument that apparently they claim they can have, but then they don't even make any good arguments. You know? They don't make any fucking reasonable arguments when it comes to why space is real and the earth is round. Because it is. Because it is. And it's the same tactic that goofy ass Matt tried to do. Distraction 101, exactly. I can't argue with you about the Israel J stuff, so I'm going to try to distract the conversation, but then at the same time won't be able to have that argument either. Isn't it interesting? Not just yapping on YouTube. Yep, what are you doing about the genocide? Same old thing, because again, I guess I'm supposed to throw on my Rambo my Rambo headband and load up on my weapons and just have a plane drop me off so I can go fight the Israelis. Like anything, any real change happens through grassroots initiative, through the people joining together and talking about what the problem is and pointing shit out that we're told we're not supposed to talk about. And, you know, this is how you make the change. You don't just go there, I'm just gonna jump in a plane and fly to Israel. Like, what kind of stupid ass desperate nonsense is it? But it's always the same stupid ass desperate nonsense.
Nick, no! For the last time, don't get you have
Guys.
3 Dragon Balls. I'm gonna 4 Dragon
He's gonna be able to collect them anyway. If you do, Nick, you don't get to make the wish without there being some sort of negotiation.
Well, I have a negotiation. Let me get the last 2 characters, and after that, he can wish for anything else he wants.
That's not a negotiation. You have to give up something on your side to be able to
You
get.
get 30 extra minutes.
I'd say an hour.
An extra hour for 2 characters?
No, because you're taking his effort and using it to your own advantage.
But I'm gonna get the other 4, which is more than he has. Which
Okay,
he has
but he's the one that has the power here.
I'm trying to get something that we both need.
Okay, what's that?
New skills.
Okay.
And he wants something that only his account can do.
Well, that doesn't seem very fair, does it, Nick?
I want to get the character so I can have all the characters.
I know. You notice how you keep saying I, and he, wait. Don't do. He's saying I,
Not 2 hours.
and you keep saying stop. You notice how you keep saying I, and he says
Yes.
we.
Yes, Dad. Nate, you can have an extra hour if you let me get the both wishes.
Now that you said 2 hours, that's
No,
gonna take
Nate.
it.
No, Nate.
Take the hour.
Yes.
Yes, dude.
No. How about this? You don't get the hour and I'll just use the wishes. No, that's not how it works.
How about you don't use the wish?
Yep. No. Yeah, that's good.
Well, I mean, this isn't going to work out. Somebody is going to lose out here, so you have to figure out how that's going to work.
He shouldn't get all the wishes.
He doesn't get all the wishes.
Well,
He's talking about this one time.
No, he's not. Since I was the one doing most of the work, I should be the one that gets the 3 Dragon Balls. If I get 4 Dragon Balls, there's 3 left. Let's see who did more work. I don't care.
No. Come on back. Wait. Come on back.
You can have an extra.
No. Stop talking. You were just making the argument that you are going to do more work because you're going to get 4. When he says, well, I got 4, so who did the most work? You say, I don't care. It doesn't matter.
You have the most work done. But
So
if
don't
you
use the wish.
If you
Don't
if I
use the
can have
wish.
the wishes, you can have an extra hour.
Nathan, you're just being a dick.
I want to get new skills.
Okay, but you still can. He's willing to give up an hour.
Hour 30 minutes. No. Hour and 1 second. Sure.
There you go. Hour and 1 second. That was stupid. Lomachenko. Of course, this dumbass brings up the most overrated fucking boxer in history. 18-3, Lomachenko is supposedly one of the greatest fighters of all time. He's 18-3. And because he's white, everybody loses their shit. He's Ukrainian. It's just so funny how desperately stupid. Just so stupid. The world champion boxer. You mean somebody with millions and dollars and shit at his disposal? He's the world champion boxer, and I'm sure he was down on those front lines fighting against Israel. Look how stupid these people are. Look how stupid this is. I make all this shit up. What I do is I make it up. Then I call places like the Jerusalem Post and I tell them, hey, I'm going to go live on YouTube and then you can have your stupid bots come in and tell me because I'm going to make up this whole story. And then you guys print the story that I'm going to read. Now, see, I'm a nobody, but now this dumbass, just like how Israel tries to compare itself to India, This dumbass is now comparing me to guys like Pat Tillman and Vasily Lomachenko. Well, because they did it, so why can't you? Duh. Right, because that's what I should be doing. I should be getting guns and going and fighting in a system instead of trying to change people's minds by talking about it, which is such a threat that fake fucking dumbass profiles will come spend hours trying to get my attention. I must be doing something wrong, right? Pat Tillman was in the NFL. Right, because, you know, I'm in the NFL. Look at how stupid you are. Oh, my God. I just love it. I love it, but I wish it was more difficult. I wish there was actually people who could make reasonable Israel arguments, but they can't. Yup, I can, yup, my 4 viewers, yup. Yup. Because only when you guys bring up the lack of viewers does it matter. When I point out the thousands that have been here and now it's down to nothing, that's not an example of censorship. That's just another example. I must be wrong. I must be wrong. Even though you can't act, this dumbass is saying everything he can other than what I'm actually getting wrong. Isn't that funny how that works out? Instead of pointing out saying, well, dude, you're getting this thing wrong. You're saying this, but you're wrong because instead of anything like that, we're coming up with that Vasily Lomachenko did it and Pat Tillman. We're bringing up Pat Tillman from like 30 years ago, right? Because that's when the Pat Tillman thing happened. So your 2 examples are a professional boxer and a professional football player who joined the U.S. military to go fight in the Middle East, one of the Desert Storm or some, I don't know, whatever Middle Eastern war it was, I can't remember. But it's not like we could say, well, if I just went and joined the military, which I'm too old to do, then I could go fight against the Israelis. No, that's not how that works. If I was to go fight, it would have to be some sort of guerrilla program where I'm totally, you know, not funded by the government even a little bit, and the fight is much harder. But this is how stupid they can get. I've seen it at least 50, you've seen it fucking 50-some people a couple days ago, you dumb fucking liar. This is what they do. This is all they can do. Yeah, if you name normal people, because there are normal people that have just, because again, what I should do is not go live on YouTube and talk about what's going on, reading news articles and shit. I should abandon my family and go somehow fight Israel on the front lines. That would be more effective. Really? This is the best you can come up with because you can't actually point out anything I'm wrong about? I hope, the only reason I'm even entertaining this bullshit is because I know there are people that read the comments and wonder shit, you know. But do you not see how desperately stupid this is? Why don't they just come tell me what I'm wrong about? Why do they go to every goddamn length possible to try to talk about anything else they can? Like the Daniel profile told me I was mad about Israel and the Jays a couple of times. Okay, so what am I mad about? What am I crazy about? Come on, slow down. What am I getting wrong? Why is it so hard for people to tell me what I'm getting wrong when all I'm doing is reading the narrative and then pointing out what it's wrong, right? Look at how fucking stupid this is. Yep, now it's meth. Now we're back to the meth again. Oh, me and my meth blunts. You know, because people smoke those meth blunts all the time. Seriously, if you really wanted to like upset the apple cart or whatever, you just come in and tell me what I'm wrong about. You do to me what I'm doing to the system. And the reason I can do this so proficiently is because it's all fucking bullshit. It's all wrong. YouTube keeps crashing on Matt, one of my supporters. Gee, that's weird. Wonder why that is, Matt. What do you think? Just another quinky-dink, huh? Not an exchange with Yemen said the report that suggested in response to missiles launched by the Houthi. What?
Did I say one wish or two wishes?
One.
Well, apparently he only got one Dragon Ball, so I did more work. I already have two.
Which Israel claims are Iranian-made. Tel Aviv is considering direct retaliation against Iran. They won't. They're pussies. They're not going to fight against somebody that can actually kick their ass. But you see it even here with Israel claims. These are all Israeli claims. There's no evidence for it. Israel is the one that shoots all the missiles into Israeli airspace. That's just how that works. Yep, blah, blah. You're getting hit with reality, smart guy. If you walk around in circles just yapping about nothing all day long, you do nothing about it. I want you to tell me what I'm getting wrong, you stupid, stupid Jay. Are you seriously unable to understand like basic English here? This seems like it would be an easy assignment, especially since I'm so wrong about everything. What do you want from people? I want you to tell me what I'm wrong about. Because me just walking around in circles, yapping, blah, 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 is enough to get you to watch every day, all day long. Obviously, I'm doing something right, since I'm the most entertaining thing on YouTube. And obviously, you're terrified of it because you keep trying to get me to stop doing it. If there wasn't any, if it wasn't any sort of issue or it wasn't a threat, then you wouldn't care. You know, nobody would care. You wouldn't waste your hours on end sitting here trying to convince me to stop talking about something that didn't matter. What sense would that make? But it's just more dumb nonsense. It's just, these are the stupidest people in the world. Oh, let's see. The Israeli military is planning. Blah, 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 blah. The Israeli military is reportedly preparing to respond to Houthi attacks with stronger and broader operations. Security sources say Israel is currently assessing options for striking direct targets within Iran and intends to intensify attacks on missile launch sites and other infrastructure in Yemen. These are acts of war. These are not preemptive strikes, so it's okay. These are acts of war. Let's see again. These are the facts. Let's talk about the facts. This guy says, I'm at work. So not only is he acknowledging what a dumb piece of shit he is, now he's a terrible employee because he spends hours of his time when he's supposed to be working watching a YouTube feed pointing out how stupid he is. Isn't that amazing? No, you are trying. You're telling me I should stop doing this and go fight on the front lines. You're so stupid you can't even keep track of what you're saying. Like what job do you have? I would imagine the garbage truck, you need to be doing something on the garbage truck. I don't want to insult garbage men, but I'm just trying to figure like what job can someone this stupid have? They can't even keep track of their own bullshit. Iran will not emerge unscathed. Security sources say Israel is currently assessing options. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant recently threatened to launch severe strikes on the Houthis following a missile attack from Yemen that they didn't even do. I guarantee the Yemen didn't even launch that one. Every time Israel wants to attack something, they launch missiles into the airspace and then they shoot them down, or according to them, the Iron Dome will shoot down 99% of the missiles fired, and the ones that do get through are ones that it assesses won't hit anything of importance, so they just let it hit. I'm having fun while I'm at work. Oh, does anybody wonder why I haven't acknowledged this dumbass until today? Oh, I need to stop because it's just another waste of time distraction. Yeah. Come on, Daniel. Tell me what I'm wrong about. What do you do for a living? Because again, let's try to talk about anything but what you're talking about, guy. We just don't want you talking about these things because it's not important and it doesn't do anything and it's stupid. Yair Lapid, what a piece of shit. Leader of the opposition Yesh Atid party criticized Prime Minister dickhead douchebag Benjamin Netanyahu's government, urging it to stop hesitating and being timid and instead expand operations against the Houthis. I love this idea that Yair Lapid is the opposition. Yair Lapid was the fucking prime minister. So, like, again, this is just shit that I'm sure none of you even know about because you weren't paying attention, but. So in just under 4 years, Israel had like 5 prime ministers, right? It was Netanyahu, and then it was Benny Gantz, and then it was Netanyahu, and then it was this guy, Naftali Bennett. Naftali Bennett, who was this ultra like conservative, and the reason that they gave was that, you know, the reason these parties were in opposition is because the Netanyahu crew believed that all Israelis should have to join the military, while guys like Bennett believed that Israelis shouldn't fight and that they should use the American fucking, you know, meat bags to do their fighting for them, right? So Naftali Bennett won the position in like 2022. And then halfway through 2023, somewhere, you know, maybe May-ish or something like that, Naftali Bennett just steps down. He just steps down as prime minister. And Yair Lapid is now the new prime minister. I don't know how that even works, how that's like legally okay, but that's how that works. So then they do the bullshit election, and this was 2021, and they do the bullshit election in 2022 that puts Netanyahu and Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich and Avi Moaz and all these fucking psychopaths that are in office now, puts them in office. And Yair Lapid is like, well, you know, even though I realized that there were some screwed up things that happened with this election, the most important thing is Israel. So I'll just step down without any sort of fight. And yet he's he's considered an opposition leader. Realize how stupid that is? Like, that's just not real. That's just not how politics works. Oh, look. Matthew's back. Matthew's back. Come on, Matthew. You've got some help now. Somebody please come help me. This guy's too much smarter than me. Please. Somebody come help me. Tell him what he's getting wrong. I can't come up with anything. Right, Matthew? Israel cannot sit idly while Houthi missiles cause a massive humanitarian disaster or continue to cripple the economy. Show me any spot where Israel has had a massive humanitarian disaster and or their economy has been crippled in any fucking way. nothing that's happened has stopped the 3.8 billion U.S. tax dollars being sent to them every year. And see, if I start talking about shit like this and memorandums of understanding and all that, these dumbasses don't know that stuff.
Don't touch it. Don't mess with the controller, Nate. He threw me on my bed because... Yes, I did. I threw him on the bed because it was funny.
Okay, well then if you're putting your hands on him, that means what?
You lose game. I'm sorry, Dad.
Oh no, that's not how that works.
He was laughing.
He was laughing?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Nathan, were you laughing?
I was trying to play my game. He keeps clicking the one button over and over. I did like this to set in my controller. Look, no, you did anything. Yeah.
Okay, so why are you doing it if it doesn't do anything?
When you're in the middle of the match and you...
Why aren't you doing other shit?
Watching him play.
Yeah, no, that's not how that works.
Yeah, but he doesn't get to throw me.
Huh?
He doesn't get to throw me.
Okay, but you don't get to mess with him.
So how is this? We cancel each other out. No, I'm not messing with him.
No, you were. That's why you're in here. Guys, come on.
I wasn't.
No, you are. You are. You should be in there playing your own thing, right? Why would you be in here watching him?
No, I'm in here watching you.
Why?
No, you're not.
Why would you want to watch him play? You never do.
I always watch.
No, you don't. You play your own thing. So, get your ass up and go play.
If you promise to just watch and not mess with me. I am. That's what I've been doing. Okay.
So he's making it up. You weren't touching his controller at all.
Yes. You were.
How about this? How about since this is the case and you guys both want to play this, we'll just shut it all down.
No.
Sound good to you? No more games, no phone, nothing for the rest of the weekend. We cool with that?
No.
So then stop the lying and stop the nonsense.
I wasn't just messing with you.
Okay. I know he's exaggerating what he was doing, but you did something, right?
No and yes.
Yes is the answer. You did. So stop it. They're so funny. Houthis. We targeted Israel's Ben Gurion airport and another vital target in Jaffa with a missile and a drone. Why would anyone ever attack Israel at this point? Knowing how they respond, knowing that your missile, your whatever it is. Do you guys want to see my meth? Look at that meth. It's just proof that Israel does it all, right? Israel is the one that launches the missiles into their own territory, shoots them down, and then executes the plan they happen to have to target that exact area where the missiles came from within hours of the strike happening. They just happen to do that. I mean, they were playing the government can't get along with each other card basically the whole time in October 2023. And then instead of having to resolve that issue and explain how they came to some sort of conclusion or truce, they just used the attack as the excuse. Well, the attack happened, so now everything's fine between us. Like, it's all just stupid. It's fucking stupid. Oh, here we go. Dumbass is again trying to change the subject. He can't tell me what I'm wrong about, so he's trying to change the subject. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting how I almost never bring up the earth shape? They're the ones that always want to. I've said it time and time again. The earth shape argument is a distraction. They're the ones that keep wanting to talk about it like it's my main fucking argument. Then at the same time saying, all you ever do is talk about it, the same things every day. Then why can't you come at me with better shit? I mean, this one dumbass has typed probably 50 comments. Not one of them is about what I've gotten wrong. Now, good old Matthew is trying to talk to get stroked off by one of his other cronies. Can't tell me what I'm getting wrong. Oh, let's see. We're going to talk about my kids now. But I think to be a good parent, you should smoke, blah, 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 smoke less. And then you have no idea anything about how I parent. But this is the distraction, right? Goofy gay Matthew can't come up with anything decent to say, so he's trying to do this bullshit. This is how they operate. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And you know I appreciate it because they're still here. If they were any real threat and I couldn't handle them, fucking block them. Why would I allow these clowns to be here if they posed any sort of real threat? If I was wrong and making shit up and these guys were calling me, why would I let them be here? Why would I allow them their fix so they can sit here and stroke each other off? Matthew says I have him on mute. So now he's just watching me because he likes looking at me so much. I mean, he is a gay guy. You guys, seriously, you need to be able to come at me with better shit than these fucking clowns. But you can't. I mean, I keep saying it. I keep answering my own question. They can't. Come on, guys. There's always an exception to the rule. Some people need Ritalin. Otherwise, Sky Daddy wouldn't have invented it. Yeah, nobody needs Ritalin. Nobody needs Ritalin. What? I don't care. I don't care. Stop being a tattletale. You know what, Nathan? Stay in the living room and you don't have to deal with it. Obviously he does. Obviously he's all about me. So like this says, the Houthis attacked with a missile and a drone. Why would they do that? I mean, supposedly Hamas launched 5,000 rockets into Israeli airspace within the first 20 minutes of the attack on October 7th. There's literally no footage of it because it all happened so fast. But they launched 5,000 rockets with zero success. Why would you think one missile and one drone is going to do anything but get Israel to come at you? Oh, yep. Must be that ad hominem time. If the weed is such a hindrance, then why can't you do better? Why are you the one that looks stupid because you can't answer simple questions? Wish it would let me comment. Let's see if it'll comment. Oh, it's waiting moderation. We will be removing this cult soon enough. Your confession was in everything else you said. Told you, battle of wits with unarmed men. There you go. Fucking stupid, man. It's stupidity, and if anything, I'm proud to show it. Along with my anti-Semitism, I'm proud to show you just how stupid these fucking pieces of shit are. New exhibition recreates ex-hostages Nova jewelry stand. became family, Tal Shalman recounts of how he and fellow hostages survived Hamas. So wait, they're either being held in civilian houses or they're being held together. How does this work now? Tal Shoham, a former hostage who was held by Hamas for 505 days, wrote a personal account in Time magazine on Friday. Gee, how many personal accounts do we get from the Palestinian side in Time magazine? Detailing his abduction and captivity in the Gaza Strip. In the essay, he called on U.S. President Donald Trump and Benjamin douchebag Netanyahu to intensify efforts to secure and release the remaining hostages. Shalom was kidnapped on October 7th, 2023, from his in-laws' home in the kibbutz Be'eri. I was kidnapped. My wife and children were with me. When terrorists couldn't break open the door of our safe room, they came in through the window. Their safe room has a window? Oh, go ahead. Oh my God. Huh?
What's so funny?
You're not going to get it, so it doesn't. The Israelis claim they have a safe room, but the safe room has a window.
That doesn't make sense.
No.
If it's safe, a window can be broken.
Right. And apparently that's how they got kidnapped, was through the window. Yeah, it's pretty stupid. Gotta love it. Stupid asses can't fucking come up with anything reasonable to say, so now they're talking about donated cars and shit. And took us straight to that terrible hotel with no pool and terrible, terrible room service. It took at least a half hour for the room service to get there. And when I say no pool, I mean like no Olympic-sized pool. They had a nice small pool, but I mean, come on. You know. He described being dragged from his home, shoved into a car trunk, and then paraded through Gaza. And for some reason, the greatest fucking military in the region with all the tech and all the this, that, and the other couldn't stop it. He was paraded, and yet they still couldn't stop it. For 8 months, Shoham was held underground in a Hamas tunnel with fellow hostages, Avitar David and Guy Dalal. Hey, a guy. Both of them were 22 years old. They were held in tunnels, yet when they came out, they weren't pale and pasty. They looked well fed. They were nicely tanned. Now we're talking, dude, seriously, this is so funny. You guys, I mean, we have to read ad hominem, don't we? Hang on a second. We'll read ad hominem in a minute. I want to finish this. Because this is just fucking stupid. This is just fucking stupid, man. Who were abducted from the Nova Music Festival, you know, the festival that took place hours after the attack and was still going. And again, there's no footage of it. They show footage of people running and firecrackers going off in the background. But there's no footage of any sort of Hamas at the fucking music festival that was allowed to continue even though they were under supposed attack. Like, it's all just stupid. The four shared a soaked mattress and subsided on a single pita per day in a space Shalom said was 40 feet long and less than 3 feet wide. 3 feet wide. Like my stairs are bigger than 3 feet wide. 40 feet long and 3 feet wide. They were in there in a tunnel eating one piece of pita per day. How come he wasn't like super gaunt? How come he wasn't completely emaciated, having only eaten one pita per day for 80 days? They shared a soaked mattress. They were given a mattress. See, this is the thing. They don't realize how stupid they sound. Why would they be given a mattress? If they're your hostages that you're only going to feed once a day, why not sleep on the ground, you motherfuckers? But they fuck up. They gave us a soaked mattress, and the blankets were all itchy, and the heater only went up to 78 degrees. And I swear, we didn't even have fucking basic cable, you know? I mean, we had a satellite, but I couldn't even watch my shows every day. And there's literally no proof for any of this shit. But this is what I mean. You have to read between the lines. I guarantee no Palestinians are going to talk about the mattress that they had while being held, you know, hostage. It's funny too, because the Palestinians aren't hostages. They're prisoners. But the Israelis are hostages. Shoham said the men developed a close bond during captivity. We were strangers when we entered that darkness. Oh, so they were in total darkness too. But we became brothers. The hostages were kept under constant surveillance with a bomb placed overhead, rigged to detonate if Israeli forces came too close. Oh my God, it's so stupid. Here, Tal Shalom Showman seen ahead of his release from Gaza in February. This is a picture of him before he was released. Looks like he's been in a fucking... He's all smiling and shit. His teeth haven't fallen out or gotten bad or anything. He was in a hole for 500 something days. No sunlight, with a bomb overhead, all that. Now he's just smiling. He recalled their poor physical condition, the poor physical condition of his fellow hostages. See, because they had to start doing shit like this. Because the hostages kept getting released and being like, yeah, they assigned a doctor to every elderly person so they could make sure they got their meds. Because, again, they have to cover their bases. If a bunch of these hostages are elderly people generally take medication to keep them alive, especially in those communities. So the idea that they suddenly didn't have all their medication would have meant there was a lot of dead hostages. Nope. What about the 3 Israeli hostages that somehow escaped and were trying to, you know, they were waving a white shirt for surrender and yelling out in Israeli and doing all these different things in Hebrew and Yiddish. They were yelling out shit. And the Israeli military shot them anyway. What about those guys? We don't hear about those hostages. They'd been fed almost nothing. The hands were bound behind the backs, the ankles tied, their heads covered with plastic bags. Oh. So somehow they were able to breathe. They had plastic bags over their heads. Their hands were tied and their feet were bound, yet they didn't die from the plastic bags over their head. Wow, this is fucking amazing. Despite this, he wrote, somehow they still had spirit. To maintain their mental strength, the group developed routines. In a place built to break us, we held each other up. We became a unit. We became family. Shoham was released in February as part of the U.S. brokered ceasefire deal. It's been more than 100 days since President Trump returned to the White House, and the ceasefire deal that brought me, Omir, and dozens of others back achieved, he wrote. Every breath of fresh air, every step in the sun, every quiet moment with my family feels like something sacred. He expressed gratitude to Trump and Netanyahu. Your decision to make the hostages a priority helped bring many people home. I am one of them. What? There was no priority to get the hostages. Like, this narrative is just stupid. Like, how does anybody fall for this? And also, again, so look at the comments. So there are multiple people in the comments who are hearing me read the Jerusalem Post, and instead of commenting on either how real or fake this sounds, they keep trying to talk about something else. What Americans would do that? This is your American tax money. You're okay with this? Yet all these people say the same dumb shit. Practicing your harmonic, your harp. Gotcha. Would somebody please come help me? Somebody please come help me. Tell this guy what he's getting wrong. He's asked me to do it a bunch of times, but I can't do it. Somebody else who's smarter than me, please. Come tell him what he's getting wrong. Matthew said that the words state and country are interchangeable. You know, because the state of the United States is a real thing, and the state of Canada, and the state of China, and the state of Germany. You've heard those terms used plenty of times, right? The Canadian state, the Japanese state. You hear that's how people refer to that shit all the time. This is how stupid the crybaby who asked other people to come fight his fight for him was. And you can see why. When he says something that stupid, you can totally see why he would fucking, need help coming up with a better argument. Shoham emphasized that more must be done. 59 hostages remain in Hamas. How do you know? How would he know how many hostages remain in Hamas captivity? And remember, prior to this narrative about being in a hole, it was that they were held in regular old houses. So, months ago, there was a story about 4 hostages being released. The Israelis had killed like 280 people, civilians, so they could free these supposed 4 hostages. 3 of which were held in one house. 1 was held in a house down the street. The house that the 3 of them were held in was the home of a doctor, a well-renowned doctor, a well-loved doctor in the region, who had a family compound. That's how they lived. They lived generations in all the same house. And his son was a reporter, was a freelance reporter for Al Jazeera and other, but I think it was Al Jazeera that the day before, he had wrote a scathing report on Israel. So the next day, the Israelis showed up at his house. One of the females, I think it was one of his sisters, sister, managed to get the kids and hide in a place where I guess the Israelis couldn't find them. But they went to the dude's house. They got his wife and his dad, and they shot his wife and his dad in the head in front of him before they killed him. Then, miraculously, 20 Israeli soldiers went in, 17 came out, and 3 hostages. You know what I mean? Like, all they did was have their soldiers put on, take off their fatigues and put on clothes, and then they said they were hostages. And the reports that they were given, they make the story for me. So one of the hostages says that he got punished one day because he was standing near an open window. So wait, you have windows in the room that you get to stay in? And he said that his punishment was that he had to sit in a bed for 2 days without talking to anyone. Again, so you have beds now? Another one of the hostages said that he got punished because his fucking arrogant piece of shit ass washed his fucking dirty, nasty J hands in the drinking water. Like in any situation, if you did that, you'd be punished. You don't wash your hands in the drinking water. But because he washed his hands in the drinking water, he was made to lie in a bed again, another bed, with multiple blankets on him when it was really hot outside for a whole day. So not only do they have windows, not only do they have beds, they have blankets. And they're like, see, the Israelis aren't the only ones that do terrible things. Look at that. They made us lay in a bed for a day or two. Blankets on us. It was hot outside. The other hostage, so there was a 3 in the one house and then 1 was in another house down the street. That was a female. And she said it was so bad because they made her wash dishes. So she was fed and had to wash dishes. A J princess washing dishes. Washing Palestinian dishes. Can you believe that? Oh my gosh, that is just terrible. Terrible. They didn't say it didn't have air conditioning. But like, this is the mentality that they put out there. That it's just the same as them dropping bombs on civilian tent cities. Because look, this princess was made to wash dishes. When anybody that was interviewed regarding that situation, the hostage situation, anybody from the town or even the family members, they all had no idea that the family was supposedly working for Hamas and keeping hostages in their dwelling. Nobody knew about it. None of the neighbors. Nobody. What's up, man? How you doing? You guys know it's like hot outside, right? Yeah. Right. No, man. You guys look like it's wintertime. Have a good day, y'all. But this is the just the craziest bullshit that they put out there, and they try to fucking, they try to convince you that oh, it's an equal fight and all this other bullshit. Nobody saw them. Nobody had any idea there were hostages there. Yet they were allowed to roam free, wash dishes, stand in front of windows. It's all just bullshit. They went to the guy's house and shot his fucking wife and father in the head in front of him because he spoke bad about, he did a report on Israel. Just got booted right off, kicked right off. Why do you think that is? Funny how you're saying that. None of the clowns are, but the supporters are. The supporters are having a real hard time staying on the feed today. I wonder why that is. It must be because I'm wrong and I'm not censored. But it's interesting how they've learned their lesson, because I've been telling this same bullshit. Whether it's the old woman who said they all had doctors and they were treated really well and they kosher food and all that shit, to the one that claimed she had to wash dishes. These don't sound like hostage situations. But they were all supposedly being held in like houses. And that was the thing. That was what the report was saying before, was that when interviewed, the Hamas leadership said they didn't know how many hostages existed and where they all were and stuff, because they were so spread out amongst the people like that. Yet, of course, Benny Gantz, former Prime Minister and former Defense Minister Benny Gantz, who's still somehow connected, said that Israel knew exactly where all of the hostages were and how many there were. Because they're the ones that create the narrative. They don't tell their Hamas operatives everything. But Benny Gantz knew. And apparently, this guy knows. This fucking guy knows. Oh shit. I lost the feed. This guy knows how many hostages exactly there are left in Israel. Israeli airstrike kills 23 in Gaza as outcry over blockade grows. This is new news. This got uploaded in between the last time I refreshed the page. Explosive materials bound for Israel are flying out of JFK Airport. Well, I want to finish reading the hostage story. Yeah, here it is. They had a bomb over their head in case Israel got too close. But this guy is giving news that Hamas leadership doesn't know. Somehow this ex-hostage knows, I guess. I'm trying to. It's so funny how hard it is to pull these things up. Shoham emphasized, oh, God damn it. Okay, continue reading. There we go. Shoham emphasized that more must be done. 59 hostages remain in Hamas captivity, and every day that passes makes it harder for them to survive. Yeah, they've survived 584 days, no problem, but every day is so much harder. He argued that military escalation will not bring the hostages home. See, these are the parts where I don't understand. You can be some sort of doofus troll, I guess. I can't imagine why anybody would be a troll to begin with. But you could be some sort of doofus troll until you realize, like, you're being trolled by the system. You're the one that's the stupid ass here. You think it makes sense that this hostage guy who has arms and legs bound together, his arms were tied, his legs were bound, they had plastic bags over their head, they were in a tunnel. He knows exactly how many hostages remain? How would he know? How would they know? How does anyone know how many hostages still exist? I mean, it's just fucking stupid, right? Yeah. Isn't it funny how Matthew keeps trying to focus on kids? Gee, I wonder why the Israeli pedos are focused on kids and trying to stop the conversation. I mean, at the very least, I'm reading the Jerusalem Post. I'm reading the hostage account. Why wouldn't you want the hostage account to be read? You know, it shows that I'm wrong, right? A new plan to expand the military operation in Gaza is not the way forward. Every step deeper into the war feels like a step further away from Avatar and Guy. That's so funny. And the chance to bring them home alive. I mean, I know I'm nothing, right? And I'm not supposed to think anything of it. But of all the names to be used, Guy is one of them. Gosh, that's really strange. He concluded his essay with a direct appeal. President Trump, Prime Minister douchebag Netanyahu, you made that possible for me. Please bring them home too. Let them breathe again. Oh my God, this is so bad. It's just like anything. So it's actually really telling, right? Because throughout history, the Jays that control Hollywood get, really arrogant and think that it's all about them. And they forget that we're the ones that are talented, and they just steal it all from us. And they start to think that they can do it themselves. So they'll kick all the goyim out, right? But what ends up happening is everything in Hollywood starts getting really stale. They start making Western after Western after Western, karate movie after karate movie. They milk it because they're not creative. They can replicate and things like that, but they're not creative. They can't come up with their own ideas. So you see how the narratives that they come up with, then since they're not creative, they can't come up with intriguing and compelling narratives. And it shows in these hostage accounts, right? It's like I call it the bag of sand theory, right? Or the bag of sand paradox, or whatever you want to call it. You have to think back to the movie 40-Year-Old Virgin. And nobody knows he's the 40-year-old virgin until a group of guys are sitting around talking about chicks, and the topic of titties comes up, and they ask him about, what's a tit feel like, and he's like, a bag of sand. And everybody realizes, holy shit, you've never felt a titty before, have you? And it's like it wakes them up, right? It sort of like it's the smoking gun, the hidden thing. And that's what you do when you don't know something and you're put on the spot. You come up with what you think it might be. So when you have, privileged J kids who grew up silver spoons in their mouth, and they're tasked with creating a historical record, create the history and make the Civil War story, create the whole narrative about the Civil War, and they're like, yeah, but we don't know how to fight. And we'll just come up with your best. Okay, so one group got in a line and held the guns, and then the other group on the other side of the field got in a line and they held the, and then they just ran at each other. That's how people fight, right? That's how things happen. That guerrilla warfare tactics weren't thought of until, the Vietnam War. The Native Americans and like the narratives that they give us, they're just stupid. They're poorly done. That was a long walk.
Yeah. About an hour.
Yeah, I saw you a while ago. But that's the narratives that they come up with because they don't really know. So when they're trying to come up with what it was like to be a hostage, oh, we were in a tube and it was our hands and our feet were bound and we had plastic bags over our head. Did nobody say, you can't breathe with a plastic bag on your head, right? Everybody'd be dead if they had plastic bags on their heads. They're not smart enough to do that. There's no goyim there to be the reality check. And it's interesting that this is just a great example of it, and I almost missed it. All right, let's see. I know I'm going much longer than I should be, but it's fascinating. If I'm gonna read the news, I might as well read it with y'all. Israeli airstrike. All right, this is the AP News. This guy doesn't give his sources. This guy just said, I could care less about. He could care less. He's so stupid he doesn't even use the phrases correctly. The phrase is, I couldn't care less. If you could care less, then it's important. Because there's plenty of things that you couldn't care less about. If you could care less, then there's all these things that you could care less about. What's up? Huh? She's at the hospital. Yeah.
Just my nephew gave her a metal table with chairs, and it's got these round cushions that go with it. She doesn't want it. Would you want it? I mean, all you have to do is get an umbrella for it.
Oh yeah, no, we don't need that. Thank you though. No, I mean I'd sell it if you want.
Eat outside and.
I mean if you don't mind, I'll sell it. I'll make money.
I mean, it's I think it's antique, but.
Well, I'll come get it in a little bit.
All right, it's in the back.
Thank you. Cool. No rush. Israeli airstrikes overnight and into Saturday. Shit, what the fuck? Loading accessibility mode. What the fuck is this? Accessibility enabled. What? Ukrainian drones target Moscow as foreign leaders arrive for a Red Square parade. Not really sure why it just switched to this. That wasn't the thing I clicked on. Let's try and see what happens here. All right. It's like making me go to this. All right, come on. Loading it. Okay, let's see. Israeli airstrikes overnight and into Saturday killed at least 23 Palestinians in Gaza. The Palestinians attacked the Israelis just as much as the Israelis attacked the Palestinians. Show me the story like this. Submarines are definitely real. Your belief in submarines is way more important than the genocide you're talking about. Fucking stupid, man. Fucking stupid. I've been on about 10 or so. Sure you have. We should just believe you because you have tons of credibility. Including 3 children and their parents whose tent was bombed in Gaza City, health officials say. Their tent was bombed. Children. Right? Cars for kids. Car for kids. You care about kids that much that these kind of stories, you just don't care. The bombardment continued as international warnings grow over Israeli plans to control aid distribution in Gaza, as Israel's blockade on the territory of over 2 million people is in its 3rd month. Why? Okay, so the idea that Israel is in charge of the aid going to the people that they created the need for aid. Like whenever they talk about the aid workers being attacked by Israel and shit, it's like, yeah, of course they are, right? Israel is trying to kill as many people as possible. Why would they then allow aid workers to come fuck that up? It's just so fucking stupid, right? The UN and aid groups have rejected Israel's aid distribution moves, including a plan from a group of American security contractors, ex-military officers, and humanitarian aid officials calling itself the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Is that Ken O'Keefe again? Yep. It's my need for attention. If I just wanted attention, I love when they just can't help but be stupid. They just can't help but throw up the lob so I can alley-oop that shit. If I just wanted attention, I'd sell you Jesus. A proven commodity that I would be very good at selling if that's what I chose to do. That my musical style would lend itself very well to it. And, Christian songs don't have to be good, so I could be extremely wealthy and extremely popular if I just decided to sell you Jesus. So if I just wanted attention, why would I be talking about the thing that, brings nothing but negative? You see how this works? Do you see how stupid they are? They can't help but be stupid. When you're too dumb to answer simple questions, and you're doing everything you can to avoid answering the simple questions, that's the kind of shit you come up with. It's just amazing. I couldn't script it any better. So, man, how you doing? Good. I'd say your hair's getting long, but your hair's been fucking long. How long you grown it?
Like 21 to 22 years.
See, my hair has been growing for like 10 years, and it's only down to it won't grow anymore. It's weird.
It'll hit them real weird points.
Yeah. Have a good one, man. Dude's got dreads down past his ass. I could care less. That's all you had to say, dude. When you're too stupid to even get your insults right, it says everything. It says everything I need to be said. Don't worry, Chels. One day you'll get boobs. Among the 23 bodies brought to the hospitals over the past 24 hours, were past 24 hours were those of the family of 5 whose tent was struck in Gaza City's Sabra district, Gaza Health Ministry said. Another Israeli strike late Friday hit a warehouse belonging to UNRWA, the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, in the northern area of Jabalia. 4 people were killed, according to the Indonesian hospital where the bodies were taken. AP video showed fires burning in the shattered building. The warehouse was empty after being hit and raided multiple times during Israeli ground offensives against Hamas fighters over the past year, said residents including Hamza Mohammed. I mean, you guys hate Israel, right? Good. Fucking video fucked up again. Loading accessibility mode. That's a thing. Now AP wants me to give them money. The AP News. No corporate owners, no shareholders. Sure. Now the ad won't go away? Okay, let's see. Now I gotta sit here and... Now some other fucking bullshit pops up. Let's get rid of this, or at least try to. God damn it. This is doing everything it can to prevent me from reading this. It's so fucking funny. I could care less. Oh, Jesus. I could. Well, I could care less. Well, then maybe you should. It's funny how the cops never show up for that shit, huh? Start your Monday. I don't want to start my day with the AP. I think AP is bullshit. I guess it's not going to let me read it unless I leave this thing up. So I'm going to have to leave that thing up. Let's try read more. Israel's military said... Israel's military said 9 soldiers were lightly wounded. How do 9 soldiers get lightly wounded? Other than you're just fucking lying. Friday night by an explosive device while searching Gaza City's Shalajaya neighborhood. It said they were evacuated to a hospital in Israel. Funny how they never die. Israel resumed its bombardment in Gaza on March 18th, shattering a 2-month ceasefire with Hamas. No, there was no ceasefire. Israel was killing people every single day during the ceasefire. Ground troops have seized more than half of the territory and have been conducting raids and searching parts of northern Gaza and the southernmost city of Rafah. Large parts of both areas have been flattened by months of Israeli operations. Except that doesn't exist in the other way, right? That doesn't exist. There is no, Israeli, this was flattened, Israel has been invaded by this, or whatever it may be. I could care less if you think it's a good rebuttal. I could care less. Oh, it's so stupid. See, the thing is, I don't even have to point it out, right? I don't have to block you. If I let you talk, you'll prove how stupid you are every single time. You also prove how you like kids. They always do. They always make some dumb kid joke or bring up some shit. They always do it. Large parts of it. Under Israel's blockade, charity kitchens are virtually the only source of food left in Gaza. But dozens have shut down in recent days as food supplies run out. Israel is starving the people. And most of the people are women and children because most of the men have already been killed or arrested. Aid groups say more closures are imminent. Israel has said the blockade is meant to pressure Hamas to release the remaining hostages and disarm. So even though they said if you just stop dropping bombs on us, we'll release the hostages, that's not part of the deal. What they want is that Israel is allowed to kill them as much as possible and they don't respond. And then maybe, and give up the hostages. And then that's the deal. They give up the hostages, Israel gets to continue doing what they're doing, and they don't fight back. Good job! Typical playground nonsense. It's all they have. It's literally all they have. Think about, I'm talking about adult. The biggest story in the biggest trending, longest. I mean, this story has been the biggest story in the world for quite some time now. All they have to do is come in and tell me what I'm wrong about, and that's the one thing they refuse to do. But will they talk about my kids? Yes. Will they talk about my wife? Yes. Will they talk about how I look? Yes. Will they talk about my house? Yeah, everything. Talk about everything but what I'm getting wrong. Because they hate me so much that they watch me for 3 fucking hours every day. Totally makes sense. Rights groups have called the blockade a starvation tactic and a potential war crime amongst all of the many, many war crimes Israel is guilty of over the last fucking months, years, decades. But it doesn't matter because they are above every court. The UN can threaten all they want. Nothing's gonna happen. Have a good day, dude. Make sure you look. Good job. Israel accuses Hamas and other militants of siphoning off aid in Gaza. Right? The reason why the people aren't getting the aid is it's Hamas's fault. It's Hamas's fault Israel is bombing. It's Hamas's fault because they're using human shields. It's Hamas's fault that the aid's not getting through. It's Hamas's fault that the hostages aren't being released. It's Hamas's fault that it gets dark too early. It's Hamas's fault that the weather's not nice enough. Hamas is so capable at everything but actually attacking or defending themselves. Though it hasn't presented... Okay, I'm going to read this again. Israel accuses Hamas and other militants of siphoning off aid in Gaza, though it hasn't presented evidence for its claims. Gee, that's weird. Seems pretty familiar. The UN denies significant diversion takes place, saying it monitors distribution. The 19-month-old war in Gaza is the most devastating ever fought between Israel and Hamas. It has killed more than 52,800 people there. It has. No, Israel has. More than half of them women and children, and wounded more than 119,000 according to the health ministry. According to the numbers, like the lowest numbers that they can give us. They have to give us numbers. They have to tell us something. So this is the best narrative they could come up with. Well, let's say, if we say it's 52,000, then they'll round it down to 50,000. And because they're already rounded down, they'll round it down to 0. If we said 55,000, then they would round it up to 60,000. And 60,000 would get rounded up to 100,000. I literally used to use that strategy when I would be slanging meat. You know, going door to door, seeing if, hey, I deliver steaks to the restaurant down the street, but they accidentally ordered too much. So my boss said that we can sell them in the neighborhoods real quick. So, hey, the case, you know, I can let you have this whole case. I would always tell people, I'd let you have this whole case. What did I say? I think it was 270, 274 or something like that. because of that rounding mentality. At 4, you round down, and then once you get used to rounding, you round down again. Well, it's only 170. It's only like $150 for all that steak. I could do that. 175 and up, you're gonna say that's $200 for that steak. I can't do that. And I would see it. I would see it time and time again. I would sell way more if I charged less than 175 than if I charged like I would. It was. I tried. I did the experiment a bunch of times. So the best thing they could come up with was 52,800 people. More than half are women and children, and wounded more than 119,000. That's only 100,000. See what I mean? Even 120,000 is still 100,000. The ministry's court does not differentiate between civilians and combatants. And combatants are people who fight back. Literally all it is. There's no military. That's why they don't call them, the army or they don't call them military. They're combatants. Anyone who doesn't just take it is considered a combatant. And that's why they don't differentiate between them. These dumb girls are walking this way. I don't know if you're going to want to go play. This guy's conversation reminds me of when my sister has manic episodes. Yup. Reading stuff, it reminds you of your sister having manic episodes. Totally makes sense. Reading is hard. The ministry doesn't... Israel says it has killed thousands of militants without giving evidence yet again. Israel has vowed to destroy Hamas after the October 7, 2023 attack on southern Israel, in which militants killed around 1,200 people, mostly civilians, and kidnapped over 250 others. Isn't it weird how they can have such accurate numbers when it's the Palestinian deaths, but it's around 1,200 people? About 1,200 people? What is that? That's not what you do. And kidnapped over 250 others? What do you mean? Shouldn't we have an exact number on that? Hamas, and it's funny how this article doesn't say without any evidence of the October 7th attack, because there is no evidence of that shit. Sans a couple of fucking goofy ass videos that could easily be made anywhere, anytime by anyone. When the both sides of the conflict happen to look exactly the same, all you have to do is put masks on and tell people that, oh look, we're the bad guy, and people will believe it. The Palestinians and the Israelis are brothers, they're identical. Hamas still holds about 59 hostages. What is about 59 hostages? With around a third believed to still be alive. They're holding hostage dead bodies? What kind of weird shit is that? Hamas released a video Saturday showing hostages Elkin Bobat and Yosef Haim Ohana, who appeared under duress. They were abducted during the October 7th attack from the music festival where over 300 people were killed. No evidence. Hamas released a video of them a month and a half ago and has released several videos of Bobat alone since then. Why are there only videos of these, like, 2 people? You have all of these people you've supposedly kidnapped, but you only keep releasing videos of the same person? What sense does that make? That's it. That's it. These airlines extended suspension of flights to Israel. Good. United seems to be one of them. After Sunday's missile attack, a single fucking missile. It is so just, like, this is where, again, I don't understand, unless you're a dumb J or Israeli or a bot, what are you supporting here? What are you opposing me for? This is the system that tells you because the Yemeni fired one missile into the area The whole world is on watch now. They're canceling flights after Sunday's missile attack. Yemen's Houthis warned airlines of a full air blockade on Israel. Meanwhile, foreign carriers criticize Israel's poor communication as Israel carriers boost flights to aid stranded passengers. I mean, it's just fucking stupid. And of course, it's the Times of Israel. Oh no, this is the Haaretz. Haaretz is the one that puts this stupid shit out. But what are we doing? It's about 59, Karen. About 59. Hamas publishes propaganda video of hostages. Yep. Again, the same fucking hostage over and over again. And it's funny because in every video he looks the same. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I can't say that because I haven't seen all the videos. Maybe there is one person, one or two, that they're actually saying, okay, you know, they're going to get paid really well by the time it's all said and done. But during this time, we're going to need you to, you know, kind of starve yourself, lose a bunch of weight, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to do that to a whole bunch of people. Every other hostage that gets released looks fucking, has a bigger turkey neck than I do. Their jowls are fucking, you know, well fed, but I don't know, let's see. This is I read this earlier. I want to see these videos. Hamas published this video of 2 hostages held. Look at, these are hostages. That nice blanket, that comfy bed he's on. You guys see this? This is bullshit. Is that a TV? No, it's a picture of some sort. All right, so let's see. I guess I didn't see this one. Fuck, my fucking body hurts. Bye, dumbass cunt. Hamas published a propaganda video on its Telegram channel because Hamas has Telegram. They hate our freedom. They hate our American lives. They hate all our technologies. How does Hamas have a Telegram account? How come Telegram hasn't shut down Hamas's account? And then, of course, Hamas is doing that because of what? Hamas posted propaganda giving a sign of life to 2 hostages Saturday evening. The 2 hostages in the video are Elkanah Bobat, 35, and Yosef Chaim Ohana, 24. Hamas previously published a video in late of the 2 in late. So it's the same 2. Same 2 people. I want to remind you that I am prisoner number 21, and this is prisoner number 22. Lana says at the beginning of the video, he is seated while Bobat lies, eyes closed, under a blanket. Get the fuck out of here. I don't want to speak about me. I want to speak about him. His medical and psychological conditions are very difficult. Ever since we heard that the war has been ongoing for months, we realized how dangerous this is for our lives. They didn't realize how dangerous this was when they got kidnapped? Since then, he has not stopped harming himself. A few days ago, he tried to harm himself. A Qasim fighter and I intervened and managed to stop him. What made things reach this point? Oh, he's trying to harm himself because they're not harming him enough. Oh shit, I do. I have some, it's more like a leaf, but okay. Glad you're so focused on me. You keep paying attention. I thought you were leaving, you douche. As a result of this, he also tried to harm us. Prisoner 22 is not willing to eat or drink. Sure looks like it. We have little food in this terrible reality, He cannot do anything except imagine and think about his son and his wife Rivka. The fate of my colleague is now my fate, Ohana says after saying that he has also stopped eating. Right. This guy looks like he hasn't been eating, doesn't he? At least he's able to cut his hair. Why is he able to shave his head? But it's not like they're not clearly shaving everyone's head. So how did he get access to clippers? Clippers. He has a clean shaven face because he has no facial hair. Typical hostages, you know. Ohana said that if the U.S. wants to know the number of living hostages in Gaza, all they must do is ask Sarah Netanyahu. It seems she knows what you don't. How would you know? How would he know anything about that? Isn't he a hostage being held in a cave? In a tunnel? What did he record this on? Was he given a cell phone? Addressing the Prime Minister's wife, he asked, "How many should die?" Ohana concludes by calling for the war to end. The two were both kidnapped from the Nova Music Festival October 7th. Who is Elka Bobat? It was revealed in February that Bobat, who has asthma, because that's a necessary thing to... He has asthma, but, you know, the hostage, the hostage takers are giving him a thing, is being held in inhumane condition in the Gaza tunnels, Channel 12 reported, citing a testimony released from a released hostage who was held with Bobat. During his time in captivity, Bobat developed a severe skin disease caused by the dismal conditions in which he was held. But you can't see it. Can't show you. Of course, he did not receive proper medical treatment, the released hostage was cited as saying in the news outlets, but they all had doctors. Bobat was held along with 5 other hostages in a narrow 30-meter. Now it's 30. He's in a 30-meter. I thought it was 40. They could barely stand or walk due to the lack of space and slept on a damp sheet full of mold. M-O-U-L-D. Mold. So, what is this then? If that's where they're in, what is this? Doesn't look like a small little thing. Ohana from Kitret Malachi attended the music festival after his friend Daniel Sharabi invited him and a few other people to celebrate Ohana's going away party before his trip to the U.S. for a pilot's course. Isn't that interesting? That the guy who they had planned on, you know, had a going away party for, and everyone around him, of course he doesn't have an apartment that somebody had to pay for, because he had already gotten rid of all that stuff. The guy that was planning on going on this long trip happened to be the guy. Oh, that's so interesting. In an interview with the Jerusalem Post in New York, Sharabi said he had wanted to go to the festival in the morning, but Ohana wanted to go at night, so they went at night. At 6:30 a.m., the music stopped at the festival, and the air sirens sounded, Sharabi said. When they started to leave, they saw a girl having a panic attack. Being that they both served together as medics in the who gives a fuck, they stopped to help her. 2 of their friends ran to the car and started packing up, he said. Ohana and Sharabi both helped anyone who they saw. Of course, they just helped anyone who they saw who was now wounded by gunfire and took them to paramedics to get the proper treatment. What are you talking about? Where? What? How? This is supposedly a festival. It gets attacked and you run away. Now there were paramedics that were set up and they were taking people. They tried to run toward the main road, but then they saw they were being fired at by RPGs. What? Now they're using RPGs? Yosef Hayim ran to the left, and his friend ran to the right and hid under a car. I saw him stand up behind the car. He popped up and went down. He was shot by an RPG. Oh, you mean he exploded then, right? Because he didn't fall down after being shot by an RPG. He would have exploded. The next time Sharad... Oh my God. The dumb Jay can only now... He's so stupid, he's been reduced to this point where he's singing Barney songs. Oh. Instead of telling me what I'm wrong about, he's singing Barney songs. That tells you everything. The next time Sharabi saw Ohana was in a video Hamas posted. It showed the terrorists kidnapping Ohana and bringing him. So this guy has been filmed from the time he was kidnapped until now. The Hamas, they're like, this guy, let's just continue. Come on, people, you have to be smarter than this. You have to be smarter than Barney songs. Anyway. www.the-bilderberg, free download. It's music, it's free. I'm such a J. I give it to you for free. All we ask is that you share it with someone. You can donate if you want to, but all we ask is that, and we do thank the people that have, by the way. Thank you. I never say that enough, but I should. Thank you for fucking the downloads and the donations. It has helped. I'm going to leave you a link to Hollywoodism. Oh, and when the website tells you that it's an unsecured page, it's fine. Nothing's going to happen. Leave a link to the Hollywoodism video. It's the most important video you can watch. It explains what's happening with Israel right now. It explains our government, explains Trump, explains everything. And they made it, so you can't hide behind, oh, it's a conspiracy theory movie. It's not. And I'm going to leave you a link to our newest video on Facebook, COVID Sauce. Go check it out. Go share it with people. That's all I ask. Is that you share and just help the word spread. Shit, if anything, share it with people who are more capable of making intelligent arguments. Right? Like, if you disagree with me or whatever, share it with people who are smarter than you, because you're fucking stupid and your best is like, half the time it's not even worth reading because it's just stupidity. You don't even know enough to be able to argue to begin with. But you try and you say things like, I could care less. And somebody else, please come here and tell me what he's getting wrong, because I'm not smart enough to come up with it myself. So, free download, Hollywoodism, and COVID Sauce video. Go check it all out. But most importantly, as always, pedophiles, fucking kill yourself.